Almost there, y'all. Make sure it's public. Already, so good evening. It is Friday night. It is the 14th of January. Happy birthday to the crazy Capricorns out there. I know y'all celebrating today as well as the rest of the moment that you possibly can. So welcome to the show. It is Friday evening. This is the New Norm 2.0 with your boy Mo Delgado, still and forever the sexiest man in this chair, aka Mo Love. For those who remember me, know the name and understand the saying: when there's no love like Mo Love, your boy. So welcome to the show. Fridays, special time of the week because everyone's winding down, and we're hoping that everyone's had a productive week. It's really important that we enjoy the time that we possibly have on this planet, because unfortunately too many of us are passing away. COVID-19 is a reminder how life is very volatile, so we have to appreciate the life that we have. Hi Renee, good evening and welcome to the show. Hope you're well. Hope your daughter's fine. Everybody else is feeling better these days. So okay. As we move forward, I'm just going to make sure I remind people, if interested, getting on the show. This is the internet-based talk show that brings you into the conversation. So if you're interested, all you got to do is let us know that you're interested in getting in. We'll send you a link, either through the chat room, which is usually the most convenient way, or through email. If you'd like to send us an email, you're willing to do so, and then we'll send you the link. This is broadcasting live right now on Facebook as well as YouTube. So it's give you two separate accesses, because it seems like finding out there's still people who don't utilize social media like Facebook. So YouTube is a resource available to you. So we welcome you to the show either which way. And we're going to talk a little bit about this and that, because it's really important that we understand that COVID-19 has created a whole new world for us. But we have to be certain that we are adjusting to all the new norms in our lives. That's where the name of the show comes about, the new norm, because we're basically developing new norms as we go along, because we have to adapt to this cycle. So we're going to talk a little bit about COVID-19 and in the news lately. The biggest thing is the Supreme Court blocking Biden's COVID requirement for businesses. And although they blocked that for businesses, they're continuing with the healthcare workers mandate, saying that everyone who works in the healthcare facilities have to be vaccinated, and or if they're not vaccinated, they have to have regular and frequent testing to ensure that they're safe. The Supreme Court uh, decision just came about just the other day. It's a really powerful decision because when the federal courts and everyone tried to mandate um, COVID vaccination all over, because we start seeing numbers of people having COVID in greater scales, especially around larger companies that own that have a large population of people that are working at the same time. You saw this in the airline industry. You saw this in the damn, I forgot the name. How do you? Don't you hate when you freeze up, and you get older, you freeze up all the time. Um, the taking anyway, all the industries that work with a lot of people at one point in time, who have 100 employees or more, were mandated to have to be vaccinated or tested regularly. So that became a serious burden. One of the things was an added layer of the OSHA. OSHA is an agency set up for the protection of safety um, for people in the atmospheres that they work on, in the whatever fields they work in, mostly in factories and large capacity companies and things like this that have people working. OSHA oversees all of the mandates to protect them. So this was another layer that was stripped from OSHA being able to lay down the smack to a lot of these corporations and companies that were having to function with large capacities of people. And with all this capacity of people, um, is the potential of COVID being spread. And that's one of the most dangerous things that we have to live with. As we saw recently, COVID-19 is moved aggressively through our nation to the point in time where last week, I think I quoted it was 32% of the people, somewhere around 32% were just recently COVID identified. Those numbers are shooting up to about 54% of COVID identified, new COVID. And there's a small percentage, something about 14%, are people who had COVID already, Delta. So these are concerns that goes on because it shows that this COVID is coming back, and they come back angry and upset and trying to come back at you if you think you beat it. So be very cautious when you're out there navigating through the world and navigating through atmospheres where you know there's lots of people. And I say this to all of my brothers and sisters universally who go to these large public venues for entertainment, whether it's large restaurants, sports venues, even nightclubs or dancing or cabarets and things like this. You need to be very cautious in the atmospheres that you go into because, unfortunately, um, the lurking darkness in those areas can potentially put harm on in your life into a way that it's never been before. And we have to be very cautious in how we are charged to protect ourselves and the people around us and our families. So we have to be very critical in watching what we do and where we go. So it's really important that we stay adamant in protecting ourselves. So if you're going out to a sports venue, protect yourself, wear your mask. Try not to touch anything. Some of us lose our minds when they go into these venues, and these venues offer opportunities for them to get drunk and what have you. You get drunk and you lost your mind. You're like, oh yeah, everybody's in love. I'm out. We out here. And okay, great. You're out here, and then a month later, you're in a hospital somewhere and suffering. Riz, how are you? Salam alaikum, brother. Alaikum salam. Um, yeah, Renee, you said your class reunion this year may not go. Yeah, I totally understand. A lot of the venues these days have suffered. A lot of programming have suffered. And you know what? It's really tough right now for Americans to adapt to this limitation. They're crying liberties and they're crying about all this discussion having to do with restrictions. But the reality is that these restrictions are necessary for you to be able to continue living. And their defense in all this is they should have the right to decide where they want to live or how they want to live and even putting themselves at risk. That may be the case, but you, in my opinion, don't have the right to put other people's lives in jeopardy by what you do. And when you do that, then that's a problem. And I think this is what this government is trying to do. However, we're seeing the way this is going on, it's affecting more and more nations across this globe. And with all these nations being affected, it's a worldwide pandemic. And this pandemic has claimed more lives than we were prepared to see. Nearly 1 million people have already passed. And we don't know if this is hypothetically something that was engineered with a specific number in mind. But the truth is, or at least there's so many reports that suggest that this had to be an engineered device, an engineered entity that whoever engineered um, is due to pay for it. I think they're due to pay for it. Karma is real. And if anyone knows any information specific to the COVID 19, please share with the world because the world needs to know the truth. And if it isn't, whoever it is out there working in the field of medicine research, God bless you. And I hope you can find a cure to help make our brothers and sisters around this world feel more comfortable just living around other human beings. Um, the conditions that we've had to live because of COVID 19 are very arduous here in America. In other countries, it's nothing because they've had to live through a lot of hardship and restrictions as it is. And we have lived comfortably for decades, if not eons, or centuries. We've lived very comfortably on this nation. And this comfort, we're just so blessed and so privileged to have this comfort that we complain the minute one fraction of a doubt that these luxuries can continue arise, and all of a sudden we go in upheaval, and this ascension is moving on. People have a tendency of feeling that they have the right to rebel, which, in instance, Constitution suggests that you do. However, you have to be careful of what fight you're putting into this world. Are you fighting just so you want to stand and feel free? Okay, you can do that anywhere else on the planet. That's the beautiful thing of living on this planet. You can travel wherever you want to as long as you can afford it. Go somewhere remote, somewhere far away, and you can be as free as you want to. All right, but when you're dealing with lives here in America and dealing with lives of abroad in some other nation, be cautious of how you impact them. So, COVID 19 is still one of the largest, widest illnesses that affecting not only the physical status of most human beings, it's affecting our economy. I was having a conversation with a local economist recently about the impacts of the pandemic, and it seemed to have all been within the same time. The pandemic hit, and all of a sudden, you saw um, a drought, per se, of resources in this nation. And we're a resource rich nation, but all of a sudden, we were seeing ridiculous things missing from the shelves at our supermarkets and our stores. We saw rampant cries of help being made nationwide, and people stepped up to help. People stepped up. Our U.S. government also stepped up to help. But the end result is now we have to pay for all this stuff, and we're still paying for it. And it's not something that it's not a noble thing to do. And each one of us are willing to pay our fair share to continue living and helping those in need. But in the nation that we have of capitalism, the question is who's actually paying their equal share? Some of us seem to be paying a lot more than others. And then the ransom share that people are getting from the benefits of this stuff far outweigh the need, I think, of having these individuals involved, like Amazon, Jeff Bezos, making many millions as he did, Walmart making as many millions as they did, corporations like that during the pandemic, offering shit and offering services, and being made available to the nation as being a frontline service provider, emergency service provider. Last time I checked, having 22 different types of soap is not a necessity. Um, but Americans, we tend to have a certain level of expectation, and we want to live a certain type of way. So that's COVID here in America. Now let's talk about COVID somewhere else. Seemed like a very important tennis star, uh, Jovic. Jovic, I think is his last name. How do you pronounce it? He's a top-rated tennis player. Um, Going to see if he can compete for um, the triple. right? The triple crown of tennis is in Australia right now. His visa was canceled. His visa was canceled, and he's about to be deported. And he's fighting Australia to have the right to stay there because he wants to compete in the Australian Open. I think it's called the Australian Open. Could be mistaken, but the highest competition in tennis in Australia at that time. He wants to compete, and because he was restricted, and apparently he did not follow the COVID-19 mandates there. Didn't follow the protocol as required by the tennis association there. His visa was restricted. So now that's a big fight, and it's becoming international. When it comes to sports, certain sports are given top billings, a lot of attention, and a lot of legal seems to be support in the background, especially those sports that are associated with a lot of people who are well to do. Tennis being one of the premier sports of those individuals, like golf. The minute something happens on a golf course, oh my God, the world will fall apart. Tennis, the way things are going bad. Basketball, guys are getting sick in the whole nine. And yeah, you guys keep playing. You stay in a bubble. Football, yeah, we don't care what it is. You guys keep coming to the stadiums and pack the stadiums. We don't care. Just keep paying your money so we can keep on doing so and so forth. Like I said, certain sports are prima donna sports and treated by the upper crust, by those who have a lot more income than others, to be the sacred cows, the ones that they tend to be a lot more sensitive. And Djovic, Djovic, I think it is. Forgive me for whoever takes offense of it, but this man is about to get kicked out of Australia because he didn't follow the rules again. Following the rules. We saw something similar to that not long ago when Kyrie Irving, an NBA icon or basketball player who plays for the Brooklyn Nets, had refused to be vaccinated and pushed to feel like he needed to be vaccinated. And then Mayor in New York, Mayor, I can't remember his name. He was that unimportant. Anyway, Mayor of New York made a restriction specifically for New York City. Anyone working in New York City had to be uh, vaccinated for them to be able to do so. And also, it's the same vaccination requirements to the national side. 100 people or above, or arenas and large areas, has to be vaccinated. So, him being an employee of the corporation of the Brooklyn Nets, he could not work in New York City. So, the dilemma is him trying to, how can he be a superstar basketball player and not being able to play for a basketball team? So, you see the end results recently. He's playing all the away games. He's not playing any home games, he's playing away games. So there's some negotiation being involved with that. It's still developing. The team, and the fan base made the team feel the hardship of not having their star player play for that basketball team. So we will see how the public continues to pressure professional sports in tennis to see how this impacts the game of tennis, and the rules specific to COVID-19 are applied in this game of tennis. I know around the world, I've seen a lot of restrictions change things. In New Zealand, I saw a lot of restrictions took place with their coveted football games there, their football, soccer. And they also play rugby, and that's something huge in New Zealand. I've seen cricket being affected in Southeast Asia, where cricket stadiums were set up where people couldn't go to the cricket stadium. Some of the games were done in a separate format. So you see some restrictions all over the world. It's just these areas that have people with lots of resources and, in some too many cases, money to buy the law or to at least change the law to their benefit. You'll see these games being altered to their likings. So let's stay pressured to make sure that everyone is accountable, regardless of your economic level. Make sure everyone's being respectful of one's life as we move forward. So let's see how that goes, because I think in America, I know America during this pandemic and how things have gone, whose arenas where people have shut down, and in areas where we've had to limit our outgoing or limit our interactions with other human beings, the media or sources of connection like this and social media have been some of the only, I guess, outlets that we seem to have outside of sports. Sports and sports gaming, and I'm going to emphasize sports gaming. Um, Here, where we're located, our home base is in Atlantic City, New Jersey, in the United States of America. We are privy to have uh, the uh, ability to have gaming, casino gaming. Casino gaming has been a staple here in Atlantic City for, I would say, nearly 40 years now. 40 years, I think it's the game. 40, a little bit over 40 years. And a lot of ups and downs, a lot of expectations, a lot of unrealistic or unattained goals through this gaming. And one of the last ones that we've had is online gaming. Online gaming, when ties to sports, has been probably one of the largest, um, the areas to affect sports. One of the things that we don't necessarily attest to is sports gaming. Sports gaming leans on sports so much. They get sports reports. They they have a tendency of leaning on professional sports teams because of the high amounts of money being involved. This gaming or sports betting has influenced professional sports so much, as you saw point shaving. A lot of times, um, high end sports agents are involved in buying and paying off people to alter sports play, whether it's enhancing the amount of losses or hitting a specific number. And sports gaming plays heavy into that. And we in Atlantic City have sports betting. Sports betting has yet to pay off for the benefits of the average person here in Atlantic City, but I'm pretty certain anybody who's into sports betting enjoys it. I know a lot of individuals, I've seen them make a little bet here and there, and they feeling happy about this and that, but ultimately, at the end, the only people who truly win are the casinos. They're the only ones making the bets. The professional sports athletes are not getting a percentage of this gaming, of the revenue in gaming. Um, the average person puts in the bets a 50-50 chance, but a lot of times, with more educated data, which is afforded to the sports gaming professionals, um, you can make a more asserted and more knowledgeable decision, and you can put your money on people that you think will, or instances where you can be, you can land in a good position in favor from that decision. So instead of 50-50, you may have a 65% chance of winning or making some money. So, it's definitely a game of chance, but with more information you have, your chances are better. But the way things are going, COVID-19 is still not being restricted. If you ever go inside one of these venues where the sports book is concerned, there's people in there watching the games. The venue itself that hosts these things are allowing people going in and out large numbers. There's barely any restrictions there. The money flow, as long as it continues going, the casinos themselves being afforded less of a restriction, meaning a limitation of what the tax is. They don't have to pay as much tax as they've done before. All these hookups in the background, how corrupted politicians seem to do. Now, just as long as those incomes go on, we don't care, or this is what they're saying basically, or at least the symbolism of how they work, they do business, is they don't care. They don't care about how you get sick and if you've gotten sick from coming to one of their sports venues, a sports book. Um, just as long as you keep spending their money, and you see it all the time. You see advertisement online. You see comedians, Jamie Foxx on one side, Jay, what was his name? I can't remember. Jay's, I forget his name. Comedians being the spokespersons, or spokespeople for these sports betting companies. Um, there's a consequence for all this. In addition to a COVID-19, there's a consequence on the person, on the body. The consequences are something that we may not see because, in the long term, we see it because it's more relevant. More and more people are suffering from these things. But right now, you may not see it, and you're still living off the thrill of it. When you hear in the background the thrill is gone, you can equate it to the hardships that you suffer because of sports betting or sports or the venues or the decisions you made that unfortunately may have caught COVID-19 from someone and you pass it on to different family members here and there. So these are concerns that you need to really pay attention. COVID-19 is serious. More and more discussion is being had about the one pill vaccination and the duration. Pfizer has gotten the okay. Um, I think it has yet to find the final CDC approval. I know they had the emergency usage, but the final approval is still pending, and Moderna is still working with Pfizer to be able to have something like this. The one pill for the entire year per se. Um, will it work? There's a lot of people depending on it because there's a lot, just like yours truly. We're hoping in some way we can get as close to what we once had as far as normal day life, so we can enjoy certain things. There's a lot of things that I miss that are being restricted or been tainted in some way. Used to travel quite a bit, uh, or at least once a year we travel. Now the destinations are limited. You wouldn't. My family and I are very critical about where we're going and who we're with and how we get there. And then once we're there, what avenues do we have to entertain ourselves? And will we be around people who are vaccinated and or conscious or who care about inflicting illnesses upon other people? These are the concerns that we all have. In addition to that, going to theaters, movie theaters. I was able to go twice, 3 times this year, and it was really fun. I felt like a little kid being able to sit in the theater. And my family is with us, but there's always a little bit of distance between the next people, and it's good. We wear our masks, make sure that we're comfortable in the arenas that we are. Although, if you have gotten your vaccination, full vaccination, most of us felt good enough that we didn't think we needed to wear a mask. But now it's making sure you're vaccinated and booster at least once. Some people have already gotten to the extreme to getting a booster the second time. Um, I am concerned. I'm concerned. Now, latest news is President Biden has told the general public that the United States is purchasing over 1 billion tests, COVID-19 tests, and will make it available through your local pharmacy to get a test. So if you're interested into getting a test, you can just contact the local pharmacy, and they should be able to give it to you. And that test should be one of those. I'm not going to say it's a 24-hour turnaround test, but it is a test. As long as you get the test, they'll send it to the labs and then alert you within, I would say, 24 to 48 hours through a remote access lab that you call, and you get the outcomes, whatever the labs suggest, and then give you secondary information if you need me. So this is what's available. And again, I want you to consider all these things. You have a nation like ours who spent so many trillions of dollars to give assistance to people who are going through struggles economically. Okay, we've gone through the instance of going back into partnership with the World Health Organization, which is a bonus to everyone. But now we're in a situation now where we're making sure that at one time all the vaccines were free. They're also making sure now that the testing is now free. With all these free elements, people are still not entertaining the thought of doing these things. I mean, it's not a perfect situation, I know, but it's one of those things that you have to consider. Your nation seems to care about you. So if they care about you, don't let that be the hindrance. You know, the you have the conspiracy side, will suggest one thing, but the human aspect will be like, well, shit. If these people are giving out all these things, and I can't use an excuse that I can't get to it, I can't afford it. Adrian, welcome, bro. How are you? I like that beard.
What's going on, man? I try to get like you know. Can you see I'm a freshman with this?
Yeah, man. About to say, hold up. Feeling nice and cozy and cool with this stuff, man. Mine's a little longer these days. I'm letting it grow a little bit. I want to see if I can get I don't know if it's close to my cousin. My cousin has a long beard. And I'm like, wow, that's kind of cool. But I'm like, that takes a lot.
What he's practicing for Santa for next Christmas or something, or what?
The hell if I know. He rocks it.
He's a future Santa in the making.
I don't know. But I tell you what, I'm curious when it comes to beardology. I'm curious to see how long it goes because it would drive me crazy after a while. The itching as it's
Yeah, that's
growing
what I'm saying.
and it's coarse, so I got to
Yeah.
constantly moisturize it. It takes so much maintenance to be able to manage it for so long. I'm like, okay.
Not to mention
But anyway,
without that, a lot of people can't tell without all this. it
yeah,
gets them totally confused.
yeah. I don't know. There's a delay going on. I don't know if it's my side or your side, but I'm
Yeah.
happy. But how was your week, man?
And not bad. I met up with Sandy.
Did you?
Yeah. Yeah, Sandy, I just got back off an excursion in North Jersey. I was in Bergen for the past 4 days now.
I didn't even think of that.
You
I
know,
saw you take a picture. You was in JC. I
mm-hmm.
saw you take a picture of that
With
stuff,
Bergen,
and I
yeah.
didn't even think about you hooking up with Sandy. That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, Sandy like, where you at, man? I'll come down there. I'm like, okay. You know what I'm saying? And so we met up, and we had a good long chat, man.
That's cool.
Good brother,
Yeah, he is. Sandy's good people, man. Really good people.
Yeah, we had a nice long chat.
Mm-hmm. So your trip up there was successful, I hope.
Yeah, nothing in life is perfect. And that's the way I look at it. And everything in life is just a matter of making an adjustment. That's all it really is.
True that. True that. Adjust as we go along.
Life is an adventure. That's just the bottom line.
Oh yeah, it's a whitewater raft. you
That's
can
it.
keep rowing or just ride the current.
Just fall over and drown.
That's it. That's it. Some people just want to be very, I guess, argumentative and try to fight against the current. My man, I'm sorry, not even a salmon win about the current. They'll lose eventually.
Yeah, with some of the companies and stuff that I've dealt with, some of them are very professional. Some of them are ragtag companies and stuff. You know what I'm saying? So the ragtag ones, I put them in their place automatically. And this was one of those guys. I tell them, I says, look, I'm not going to be fighting over pennies and nickels and dimes, my friends. I don't do that. I've lost a lot of money in my lifetime, and being in business, I've gained a lot of money. So I don't squabble over the small stuff. So miss me with the nonsense.
You notice, I don't know if you've noticed, but I've noticed how companies nowadays seem to be a lot less friendly and more like really vicious in their business dealings. Like,
yeah, they're blatant. They're very blatant in what they do. And they complain about nobody wants to work. That's bullshit. Because the stuff that they're actually putting out is like ridiculous. Go try buying yourself a steak and see how much that will cost. I've been into 4 ShopRites this week. 4 different ShopRites. I was in Jersey City. I was in Bayonne, Hackensack, and Fairlawn, checking out all of these different ShopRites to see if the operation was going according to plan. And believe it or not, a lot of it's not. A lot of the employees are very frustrated. I've heard all different types of horror stories from the employees. It was like being on the show Undercover Boss. Well, that was me this past week. I was in the ShopRites. Yeah,
I bet
and
you
I
that was
went through
very
those, and they told me some very horrible stories, man. I'm serious.
So when you went to Bayonne, did you go to the shop right on 440?
I went to when I was because I was in Bayonne yesterday.
Okay.
There's a shop right. I can't remember the exact address, but it has an underground parking to it. An escalator. Yeah.
Okay.
It has like an escalator going up. I was up there yesterday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
The one in Fairlawn seems much better. The one in Bayonne is like jam packed. One of the people in line says, "There's only a Stop and Shop here and a ShopRite, and the Stop and Shop barely has anything on the shelves, so everybody comes straight down to the ShopRite. Yeah. So they stand in line even before the door is open. These people are there."
You know what's crazy is the more and more. I don't know if people are paying attention, but the supermarkets are getting a lot of strain. There's a strain on these supermarkets. They don't necessarily have the supplies that were comfortable, and then they come in at a premium now. Like, it's crazy how you would see, like, simple thing is bread. Bread will be like maybe $2.22 or something like that a loaf. One time it used to be 98 cents. Remember the little loaf for 98 cents?
Good old days.
Exactly. Now it's like
the good old days.
Exactly. Now it's like $4. Milk is up on near $6. I'm like, you have to really consider these things, man.
Yeah.
I went to buy a product that my mother uses called Ensure, And when they get older, their digestive system don't necessarily work
Correct.
as
I'm
easy.
familiar
So
with it.
yeah, the liquid supplements help out. So she
Correct.
would get the 6 pack, and the 6 pack at one time was you can get a 6 pack for $5.99 for the 6 pack. Okay, I saw an increase, became $7.99. Okay, didn't think about it. 30 days later, now $9.99. So it's $10, almost flipped a whole 100% in the prices. Um, and all I kept thinking was people who are on limited income are suffering. These folks are very suffering. I mean,
Well, I was on this week more. I was on the front line.
okay.
I was on the front line this week. There's no doubt about it.
Mhm.
I was there with the employees, and they told me all the stories and they tell me everything that's going on, the whole 9 yards. I've heard it all.
Right.
So if there's anybody that was on the front line, with employees, like you would see, a particular segment of Undercover Boss would be basically the same thing what I was doing
Right.
this past week. This week, as a matter of fact. So I've heard because this one young lady, I believe, I was in Fairlawn, and she says, Adrian, all the blue stickers means that we don't have any of these things on the shelves. So what they start doing is creating an image. So if they have like one row, they will actually say, okay, let's open this row and let's put two of these on the row to make it look like if it's full. But then we're only going to put three of them in that particular row because we're out of it.
Yep.
So they were actually, doing a little bit of improvisation with the products on the shelves.
I saw that happen in Walmart. And Walmart's such a huge conglomerate. They're such a huge corporation that you wouldn't think that Walmart would need to because they buy stuff in bulk in huge amounts. So when they get them shifting on stuff, you're thinking, okay, they'll have all the things. I want to see if I can find a picture. Again, looking for Ensure. And I don't know what it is. I don't know, but just for the listening population outside, pay attention, y'all. If you ever go to supermarkets and look at Ensure, if you see any butter pecan, let me know. Because it seems like all of South Jersey, someone is going and buying every supply of butter pecan
But Mo,
Ensure.
you have,
Everyone.
you have to remember that every time it gets on the news that there's a storm coming, like what's going to happen this week, another snowstorm,
Right.
everybody jam-packs the supermarket like crazy. One. Second of all, if you've noticed, a lot, like you said, a lot of the prices have gone up. So a lot of people, when they hear the numbers are going up, a lot of people strategically go in and buy a substantial amount of things and just store it. They just sit on it. It's no different from the guy that had all of those hand sanitizers inside of his garage, at the beginning of the pandemic. I know a lot of us remember that particular story.
Right.
He was buying it from all over the damn place, whereas he couldn't get anything.
True.
So this is what these people are actually doing because it seemed like they're waiting for doomsday scenario to actually occur. So they would buy a whole lot of stuff, canned goods, and they would stock it up.
But I found it odd that only one flavor because they had tons of vanilla, tons of chocolate, strawberry, and this is another corporation that apparently makes quite a lot of varieties of flavors. But it's just one flavor. You're not going to find it nowhere. And then if you ask the managers, they have they have the shipping. Oh, we had 15. We had 15. Okay.
Well, that's not well. Being inside the shop, right? Come to find, those are not the only products. There are many other products out there that at one time they had different flavors, but they no longer carry that. I remember you spoke about it in short. This one lady, she's like, every time I come inside of here, I can't seem to get the strawberry type Ensure. So she wanted the strawberry one. And I'm like, man, let me see what we have here. So I looked around. So I finally got it for her. She was on the other side of the supermarket. So I flew over there and says, ma'am, here you go. I got you one. She's like, oh, thank you. I don't need it. I don't like chocolate. She wanted the strawberry. So I hooked her up with it. You know what I'm saying? And that's what it's about. But a lot of there's a two-tier to the problem here. One is that the manufacturers are not supplying what they used to put out at one time. And the second one, they spoke about employees because there was a team that I was supposed to work with, and every single shop, right, they're telling me that the team never showed up. So they're like, I'm like, okay, there's supposed to be a team here. I'm like, well, you're the only guy that shows up. I'm like, where's everyone else? One guy, he was supposed to be helping this young lady out in Fairlawn. His mother passed away, so he had to, take time off because to grievance and the whole 9 yards.
Right.
But it's a problem. It's a big, serious problem out here. You know, a lot of the boxes are in the back, but they're not getting put out to the front because they don't have enough manpower. But then again, they don't want to pay the people their worth. That's the problem. That's the biggest problem here. They don't want to pay you what you're actually worth. You know, and one of the managers at the Bayonne store, she wasn't even a manager because she says, Adrian, I don't even want the position to be a manager. And I've been doing this for almost 40 years at ShopRite.
And that's another layer of the issue that's going on. You have the people who are dedicated workers because they have to. It's not like because they really love their job. They have to work under these
Correct.
conditions. And they're working all of a sudden, they're being made to be managers and management and stuff like that, and have to deal with really difficult situations. They're not getting compensated anymore. Not
Correct.
really.
They don't want to pay them. She's
No.
like, you know, they don't want to pay me the managerial type salary, but they want me to work my ass off to be a manager. She's like, missed me with the nonsense. She's like, you know, each and every single one of those shop price after I left Mo, the first thing they said to me, Adrian, are you coming back next week? Because we'd love to have you back. And they thanked me so much. It was like unreal. They said, we've gotten so much done having you around. I says, you know, I like to leave people, and I've always said this, in a better position than when I first met them. And
That's
that's
the
what I've
Adrian
done for
touch.
each and every single one of those store and shop price while I was there.
The Adrian touch, boy. People don't know.
You know, this one
Yeah.
lady I was getting ready to shake her hand yesterday. Her name is Donna. You know, little short Italian lady. She says, Adrian, don't shake my hand. I want you to give me a big. And she grabbed me and just hugged me like crazy. She's like, thank you so much. I would have never gotten this thing done, you know,
That's
if it
cool.
wasn't for you.
You man, see, she's getting an understanding what we already know. You are the man. You know that.
You
So
know,
that's
but
cool, Jay.
you know, and that's what I said. You know, I says they don't want to pay the people their worth, their self worth. These people are very hard, honest, working individuals, and I don't like to see them get paid accordingly. But
Yep.
if these people are making all of this money and it's not trickling down, it takes you back to the 1982s of the Ronald Reagan years of Reaganomics, and
Yep.
they even said that on the news.
Yep.
This entire pandemic has catapulted us back into the past during the Reagan years. We know shit was expensive as hell back then,
You know, one of
and
the
the
funny
rich got
realities,
really, really greedy.
right? One of the funny realities that we were really contemplate was thinking one example of something that happened. Remember when we were talking about the nation was worrying about all these shipments that were supposed to come in from other countries, and they were sitting on the outside of the docks, and people weren't able to get their products and they were ordered because they were ordering from other countries and what have you. If we look at it from the perspective of understanding of all this stuff, there was nothing really in the way preventing those products from coming into the United States. Nothing. It was some odd reason that the amount of people that were working on the shipyards were limited. Not that they were sick, they were limited. Some of them were laid off. They found out later on that some of them were scheduled not to be there. So it was some sort of strategic plan to limit access to these individuals coming in. Now, in having to do so, these companies that did that now have to pay double the amount of money because they have to work overtime by the contracts that they have to work. Remember, because these are union jobs, and in doing so, now the flow is heavy and continuous, but still, there's a level of premium that people have to pay now because there's still a shortage. It's going to take at least 6 months to a year for us to get back to the levels we once were
They
on
said
a
even
continuous level.
longer than that, Mo.
Yeah,
They said longer than that because
yeah,
remember the numbers are going up again. People are going to die. That means a lot of job, openings are going to be available.
hmm
And this is the situation that's happening. I was
yeah,
watching the evening news yesterday, whereas the doctors and the nurses, when they actually end up with COVID, the hospitals are telling these people, don't test, or, because we don't want you to test negative, come back out to work. So they're getting the doctors and the nurses to go back to work with COVID to actually, and make the people who are already sick on their last leg even more sicker.
hmm
That is ridiculous. That is so ridiculous. And I know this from a personal experience, but I need not mention it.
hmm
I've seen the same damn thing. The company is saying, don't test, come back out to work, because we need you here. What kind of nonsense is that?
And you know what's sad? And you talked about this a little earlier. You touched on. I think every one of us in our immediate area has had some instance of that type of interaction, either from themselves working with a corporation that didn't care, or the systems that are supposed to care only treating you like a number and trying to
Correct.
shovel you in and out. Because there's still a lot more complaints, and the complaining that's taking place now is that because Omicron has seem to have gotten so much velocity and hitting so many different people, people are really concerned about getting tested. So now these tests are coming out, but it's been proven on multiple occasions. You see it on social media, YouTube, where someone comes in with a test and they're just putting it over water, and then it comes at positive like it's COVID-19. And then in the same instance, in another situation, someone putting soda on a COVID test, saying it's positive. Then someone who is actually COVID knows they had COVID because they took the test, and it says they have a negative. So the issue is the quality behind the tests. You know, are you actually getting tested for COVID-19, or are you actually going through through the motion? So somebody has collected a fee for the motion that you're taking. You know, so that's really dangerous right now, man. And I hate the fact that so many people who are needing medical attention are not getting it. And in areas like hospitals, you think they're supposed to give you the utmost best because of the Hippocratic Oath, giving the best type of service they can, regardless if they can pay or not.
It's a money game, my friend. It's a money freaking game. It's
Hell
a money game now. That's what it's boiled. It is boiled down to dog eat dog world.
Mm-hmm.
That's just the way it is. You know, it's either they're gonna eat you or you're gonna have to fight for yourself. You're gonna have to defend yourself.
Absolutely.
You know, and this is some of the things that's really make this entire situation so sad. When you have doctors and nurses actually saying that I am sick, and the hospital telling them that we really need you real bad, so don't test and just come back out to work. It's basically a form of fraud in a way. You know what I'm saying? You're telling people to lie about something that they know that they have, which falls under fraud, to tell you the truth, because they took a Hippocratic oath to protect the people that they're supposed to be, you know, helping, not hurting. You know, so that when hospitals do that, they should be held liable, you know, for these kind of nonsense. And once that start happening, then they're gonna get the point.
Right. And I'm still having a problem when these vaccines are dished out, and the first thing that was said is, if this, even before the vaccines came about, when it was a national discussion, and then the CDC and World Health Organizations both said the same thing. Before the vaccines come out, if by some chance you had symptoms and you have certain specific systems, contact this number or go to this specialist so they can help you out. Before the system, anything came about, they were like preparing people for the worst ahead of time. That's something to be concerned about. And then in some instances, like this whole situation now from the Supreme Court justice stripping the mandates, it's again disarming the American worker with the ability to work in a safe atmosphere. I know here in the city of Atlantic City, in municipal offices, there have been a lot of outbreaks, and because the systems behind the politics behind here were seemingly trying to hide the amount under the understanding of the HIPAA laws.
Okay.
You know, this is always, oh, it's HIPAA, it's HIPAA, it's HIPAA.
Mm-hmm.
HIPAA don't fucking apply if you have such a rampant pandemic hitting so many people so often. You have to be responsible to be able to manage people at a high grade level to not put them in jeopardy. And when you don't do that, then you're equally responsible for the outcomes that happen with these individuals.
Well, this world, we're in for a world of hurt, man. I'm telling you, a world of hurt. There's no doubt about it. Yeah, there's too much going on out here, and like it says, you know, with the hospitals, you know, I saw Renee just posted something on there that a lot of medical professionals are quitting their jobs, which you can't blame them. You know, it's like either I get my family and myself sick, or get the patient sick.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So you have a choice there, and you have a moral obligation to your family first before anyone else. That's just the bottom line.
Yes, it is. I had an interaction with a professional in the insurance company, in the insurance arena, right? He's my life insurance representative. And talking to him in a candid conversation about vaccination, he disclosed to me he's not vaccinated, but his children were vaccinated. His children had been susceptible and had caught COVID-19. And you know, luckily they're better and all that stuff, but he was not vaccinated. All I kept thinking was, this is a person working in the arena of security, right? Trying to help lend people some sense of security through life insurance. And he himself has chosen not to be vaccinated. I'm respective of his decision because it's his decision to make. However, it lends to the idea is why are still so many people having such wide opinions of this stuff? There should be so much science behind all this stuff and so much credibility that it would behoove the most, I guess, basically learned individual just to read the simplest things to convince them to or against, for or against. But we don't. We're in between. We're such an intelligently ignorant population.
But you have to look at the vaccination situation when COVID first hit. Look at who we had as president. Look at all of the stuff, all of the lies that he was spreading. Right about this time, this day and time, one of the leaders, I believe, the oath keepers, they brought his ass before before in court today. The head of the oath keepers.
Yeah, he has
because
to
those
face
are the guys with the military outfits, with their hands up on each other, walking up the stairs, taking pictures and stuff inside of the freaking inside of the Congress
for the insurrection. Yeah,
for the insurrection.
Yep.
So now you were so proud to be there. You should just be as proud to be arrested because a lot of these guys are fleeing all the way around. And then you have then you have Fox News. I posted something on there with Rand Paul. I don't know if you saw it. And Dr. Fauci, when Dr. Fauci says about Rand Paul, how he actually, kept on talking about the virus and how much money that Dr. Fauci was actually making. I posted on my Facebook there, but at the same time, Rand Paul is like, find Dr. Fauci, and there's a little box right next to it saying make a donation to Rand Paul's organization. So Dr. Fauci actually got that and called him out on it. He says, you're putting my family in jeopardy for you to make money. But now you're up here trying to blast me, but at the same time, you're the one that's the problem because you say, here goes $5, $10, $20, fire Dr. Fauci, donate right here. You're busted. You know what I'm saying? You're busted. Period.
I tell you what, though, I'm not gonna hate on this gangster though. That's some straight deliberate shit right there. If he just didn't donate to this money, he's not hiding it. He's not hiding it. He is not hiding it.
But you want me to tell you something? But based on that shit alone, the heavy arm of the law should come down on his ass. The heavy arm of the law should come down on his ass because the person I'll find myself a good criminal lawyer to attack that ass. You know what I'm saying?
Crazy stuff is he's a lawyer. He's a lawyer.
Well, he's a doctor.
He's a lawyer. He also has a law degree.
But he's more of a doctor than a lawyer, to tell you the truth, because he brags about his doctorates over and over. But still, it doesn't matter. You get a damn good law firm and attack that ass because you're putting the man's jeopardy, his life and his family in jeopardy.
Yeah.
So that's another constant form of indirect harassment. And I know that there are laws against that. Because like you just said it yourself, I can't hate on this gangster. Gangster shit ends up in jail, just to let you know. Right. You know what I'm saying? Everybody that I know that's a gangster, one way or another, ended up in jail. End up into the ass. That's all there is to it.
Very true. That's liberal. I mean, that's at a high grade. But I always ask the same question. If all these accusations are being made, why isn't he attacking them in the courts and be like, yo, I'm suing you for this and doing this? Because for you not to, what is that suggesting? Like, is it truthful or is it what?
Who are you referring to? Dr. Fauci or Rand Paul?
Fauci. They're attacking Fauci left and right. I'm like, yo, Fauci, what's up, man? You just blowing it off like nothing? I'm like, if I was you, I'd be taking this because the court.
Some people in life don't like to get into fights. It seems like he's like one of those types that would not like to get into a fight, even when he was growing up. Some people will fight. Some people don't like to get into a fight, and that's just the way he looks like. He looks
very New Yorker. He's a original New Yorker. He knows what getting a fight is.
You could be a New Yorker, but you can still be timid at the same time. You know what I'm saying?
In the arena work that he does is constantly in contrast to whatever's popular. So he's always fighting, especially infectious diseases and stuff like that.
He's fighting bacteria. He's fighting human beings. So even though some human beings will be categorized as bacteria any damn way, You know what I'm saying? He's fighting germs.
Plus, the company that he owns under his name, they have a legal team. They have to. All corporations have a legal team. Let them handle that shit.
But like I said, the same token, like I won't be surprised if they're going to launch, something against Rand Paul. You're just probably waiting for him to slip up even more.
I think that's a long time coming, though. Rand Paul needed to get his ass handed to him many, many times before.
Many times over.
For being just a wild out, just a
But
person
he
who's
likes
allowed
to
to
do
believe.
shit on Fox News, though. You got to remember that. He loves to look on Fox News and have his people and his followers saying, "Oh yeah, he's doing a really good job."
That's 'cause I don't watch Fox News, and I barely watch any of these news guys. So I get my news and world reports in different places. But when it comes to bullshit like this, because I don't like the fact that a lot of these people,
the lawyer.
yeah, a lot of these individuals that are involved, they're part of larger corporations, and it's all about dollars and cents.
Of course.
And the average person like us, we don't know we don't know the depth of it. We're not really fully involved in it. We don't understand it. We look at it from a moral. We look at it from a moral aspect, moral or ethical aspect. When you get into that point, they're like fuck morals, fuck ethics. If it's not about money, it ain't nothing. And that's that whole mentality, and it's odd. I can't get it, but I don't know. I don't get it. But and you're just talking about it, like right now, CNN is showing talks about the oath keepers and white supremacy and the presence of so many individuals who buckled in justice, who are buckling in the faith of justice. Like the one lady that was famous for saying, nothing's going to happen to me. I'm going to go and I'm going to have no charges.
In Arizona, who said, I'm not going to go to jail because I'm rich.
Yep. She got her ass handed to her. Now she's got to do some 36 months in jail. Yep. For being part of the insurrection. Now let's get all the rest of them, including Rand Paul, because Rand Paul was out there talking shit too. He was next to Trump in the tent. Remember the tent they were up the street?
Even Donald Trump's boy, they just hit him with a subpoena, and he's like, "I'm not going to answer that." I was talking to Donald, but we didn't say much. All of them are backpedaling right about now. Everything is. If you were so proud on that day, like you always say, stay that same energy, hold on to it, rip it. You know what I'm saying? Hug it, embrace it. Yep. But they're not. They're backpedaling on it.
Hilarious how all of the people were sitting with the Trump signs and I'm a Trump fan, Trump this, and
they're hiding it.
And he basically told everybody, no, I can't help you. No, fuck y'all. Sorry. Left all of them out there on their own.
Do you remember at one time you would see all of these flags, these American flags on the back of, pickup trucks, with the Confederate flags on the back? You don't see too many of them bad boys anymore.
Nothing.
They're going into the wind.
They lost the power of patriotism. That's true. You don't see that same type of antics.
You remember the Confederate flag? They was flying that all over the damn place with flags and boated flotillas and trucks and cars. You don't see that anymore.
I remember.
You fly down the street with one of those Confederate flags, you'll get pulled over by state police. And it might be a brother. You know what I'm saying?
I remember when they were riding through Pleasantville.
I remember
that. If you're watching and you don't know Pleasantville, New Jersey is an adjacent town. It's like our sister town. It's a lot larger in size, however, smaller in population, so it's a lot more rural. Small town, one strip. It may have been 10 blocks long total where the strip is, and majority of businesses.
Main Street.
Right. So they rode up and down, and these are the people who came from other parts of town with large pickup trucks and had the Confederate flag out and rooting and ran, talking about America, all the stuff that Trump was so proud of saying. And the type of response they got in the community was demonstrative of the time, but it wasn't necessarily helpful to us because it didn't make it any better. I mean, they were getting rocks thrown at them, people cursing them out, and it was expected because this is what they were doing. They were doing this stuff just to basically push people to interact with them in a negative way.
They wanted to push people to anger. That was their main objectivity.
Yep. I remember when they came, there was a woman on our beloved Inkwell in the inlet section of Lang City, and there was a lady draped in Trump everything, towels, flags. She had a big old flag up, and the people that were interacting, people of color, were not being angry, not being argumentative, nothing. very proudful individuals that spoke to said, look, you can enjoy yourself while you're here on the beach. It's our beach, it's our town. You're not from here.
I remember
It's
that.
okay. And I mean, it was demonstrative of the caliber of people that I know we have here in Lansing. They tried to make her feel comfortable, and they still looked out for her so no one would attack her. They made sure, and people were like, "We don't know where she is, but she's on the beach. As long as she don't bother nobody and cause anything, it's nothing." I know she tried to interact with somebody, and somebody just shut her down. Hold, are you here for the beach or are you here for politics? Because if you are, you can go somewhere else. This is the beach. Everyone's here just to hang out and cool out. And they basically shut her down, but it was demonstrative of the time. But like you said, I'm not seeing too much of the Confederate flag. Even though I know people got them in their homes.
They got them.
I can't
They
wait for
got
that.
them in the garages. They got them in the bedrooms. They got them in the living rooms. But they ain't flying them like they used to.
Yep. I don't know if the recruiting mechanism that was getting everybody part of the Proud Boys and the white supremacist organizations, right? The Oath Keepers. If all of those organizations are, I remember the brothers down in Georgia. With the Black Gun Owners Organization, they were recruiting in large amounts of numbers. I'm pretty certain that they're still recruiting individuals.
But the thing that bugs me out, every time you speak to one of these individuals, they always tell you about Antifa. Antifa this, Antifa that. But at the same time, the ones who are getting arrested is not Antifa. It's the Oath Keepers, and the like. It's the Oath Keepers and the like. It's not Antifa.
And it blows my mind because in that same discussion, these are some of the people that talk about Black Lives Matter in organization, not a movement, in organization. Even in the discussion now, there's a lot of people who are woke, who are talking about the organization, utilizing a movement to get all this money and all this support and did everything and never did nothing with it, and they've died down. We are a community of doubters. No question. And we have a right to doubt things and question things. Like the discussion of Antifa. There's so much, I guess, bullyism with Antifa. If you look at what Antifa is supposed to be, they're anti-fascists. So they don't want people like Trump in office, who's a fascist, who's only thinking that white dominant males can rule the world. Those are the individuals.
But that's what you call, he was always considered as a WASP. White Anglo-Saxon, right. Correct. White Anglo-Saxon Protestant.
Right.
Correct. Right.
So if you have individuals who are being made to, they're being promoted to be the evil enemy of the empire, and I'm like, are they really? If you look at them, who they're supposed to be, they don't seem to be an enemy other than for you guys. I never ran into Antifa. I never ran into anything Antifa. They like, there's a lot of bullshit about Antifa. Antifa who? I'm fearful of the guy wearing.
The name alone is what actually makes these people so fearful. It's the name, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
It's like if you was to say Black Power or Black Panther, they're like, yo, that sounds too horrible we can't tolerate that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. The sensitive ears of America, definitely. You can't barely say a certain stuff.
Yeah, you can't say certain things and stuff. They're going to say, no, that was the evil group back in the day. But the Black Panthers were the ones that were feeding the people in the hood. They were taking care and protecting other people in the hood. That's what the Black Panthers was all about.
Yep, very much so. Where a lot of programs that we are enjoying now that the government has adopted were started from the Black Panther Party movement. Yeah, but it's crazy how American culture always vilifies things and then later on adopts it to be their own. Like marijuana, vilified it like crazy. Reefer Madness, the movie, people going crazy. All of a sudden now it's a major booming corporation. After you already enslaved people and locked them up and destroyed their lives for personal use or whatever. Now
it's still refusing to actually get rid of some of those people in jail with those the background. When they do a background check, oh yeah, you've been arrested for what? For marijuana? That should be expunged automatically with that law. Automatically. Don't just pass the law and don't expunge these people. These people need, you ruin their lives.
Yeah.
What about all of those Black people that actually went to jail and spent 30 to 40 years, and then they come out and stuff and says, oh yeah, because of DNA, these people got off the hook. You've already destroyed their lives. The last guy, his mother passed away, and he never even made it to his mother's funeral.
Yeah, that's sad.
And he was innocent. This is
Mhm.
ridiculous. Then there's another situation that I heard on the news today. How a cop, you know, an off-duty policeman actually shot a black guy after hitting him with a truck or some nonsense like this.
Mhm. That happens too often, man. And I would say the same thing. DNA has been a blessing, or DNA analysis has been a blessing, because it helped free people from injustices. It has yet to save a life, though. That's the bar part about it. It hasn't saved a life yet. However, we will see. Because
Well, you know, it's yet to save a life, but all of the people who have committed these crimes and based on the DNA testing, they're going to find out that these people are actually innocent. But not every state is going to compensate you for being in jail for such a long time.
shit, most of them won't.
I know,
Most of them won't.
and
The
I
last time I
know.
heard of somebody
Yeah.
being free because of DNA was again from the Southern Poverty Justice Organization. At what's his name, Brian? I forget.
I know what you're talking about.
Right. He released the one guy, and they, after some 20 years in jail on death row, freed him and everything. Found out he was free and wasn't even involved, wasn't even around. Then they compensate him with like $7,500 in compensation so they can try to regain this. And this was back pay or
You
something.
can't.
You can't get. There's no dollar amount can be had for the years lost, the potential earnings that that person has had, the potential life
No,
blessings that you have, the events.
some of these people
Can't.
go. Some of these people go into jail,
Hmm.
and when they come out, we're using cell phones. These people have never used a cell phone because when they went into jail, cell phones wasn't around.
Right.
So they have to learn how to use a cell phone. They
The
have
whole
to
system.
learn how to use a microwave because they
Right.
don't have that type of capability or learning experience in jail.
Right.
And it's ridiculous. And there's this one guy. It was a really good story that they locked him up and he took classes, he took law, he fought his own case and he got out.
Well, you saw how. I don't know if you ever paid attention to that stuff, but the justice system at one point in time used to be to rehabilitate individuals. And in the doctrine to rehabilitate, you have to afford people education as being a means to rehabilitate them. They no longer have that in their mandates.
That's what I
The
heard. They got rid of it.
criminal justice department no longer rehabilitates. They hold in, and I forget the terms, but rehabilitate is not part of it because they're not affording education to these individual people that came in there. And they've gotten in there and got multiple degrees while they've been locked
Correct.
up, multiple degrees. And then they come out and they're at levels just by the degrees that, and when they're able to come out, that they're making huge amounts of money, more than everyone else in the justice system. So they made the system pay work for them. But however, they stopped that shit. Just like they
Yeah.
stopped allowing inmates or people who are incarcerated access to weights. They figured there's no longer. We're not going to build these individuals to be so huge and so strong. We're not going to give them a chance to do so. So I'm like, the criminal justice system is no longer about rehabilitating people, and it's one of the largest industries in America. And it's part of this whole framework of the um, Jim Crow. Jim Crow, at one point in time, was one format. Jim Crow has changed. Now it's the pipeline from school to jail, because the jail system has become an industry in itself. Now, where we have to step by step, state by state, because the way the laws are set up, to have a law in place to prevent from industry utilizing jail or utilizing people who are incarcerated for free labor, because that's basically slaves, slave working. So
Right.
that's servitude. We have to in every state. New Jersey has yet to adopt that. And every state that has a private jail has a contract with a manufacturer where they can produce stuff at a real rock bottom price. And the people who are in the jail don't get paid for that stuff. They don't get compensated freely. They're not even looked at as being employees. It's free labor. That's servitude. That's slavery.
Yes,
That's
it is.
wrong. That's
Modern day slavery.
Yep. That's still part of the largest avenue of income that America that makes on people of color, utilizing the justice system to lock them in.
Correct.
And the way it is, it keeps them into it, and it helps to promote keeping that labor force heavy. And
Yeah.
industries get paid for it. Georgia's another corporation.
But what about that one particular judge who was actually in cahoots with the Department of Justice somewhere and who actually locking up the kids? and he was making money off the beds because the beds and all of these things, from these corporations on the outside. He was double dipping.
He was a hidden partner. He was a hidden partner with the youth detention center.
Exactly.
Hidden partner, youth, and he would send them all through youth detention center.
They locked his ass up and they threw away the damn key, and that's what they should have done from the get-go. But I know that there are more of those guys out there anyway.
Oh yeah, as long as there's money to be made, there's industry involved. There's always somebody in the background looking for a chance to make money off of what they do, and it's crazy. It is disgusting how the thing is. Like now, the way COVID testing it is, I'm pretty certain that the systems, the manufacturers who create this, don't necessarily have the same type of evaluation that something else that impacts like syringes and stuff like that. I don't think they go through the same scrutiny to ensure that they have 100% valid outcomes. You know what I mean? With so much being said, plus now because they're home-based systems, that eliminates the ownership of any fault to the corporation, because they're like going to give it to you and say, listen, you got to just do it the way you need to, and if you don't, it's not our fault that you got it. It's not our fault. That you're just setting it up for more failure. That's sad.
It is. It's a very bitter pill to swallow. There's no doubt about it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, man. But the debate continues. We just opened up, corporation in Praxis just opened up a testing center here. And it's helpful because so many people have been floating around in Atlantic City who suspects to have COVID-19, and the regular avenues of testing aren't as easily available. Like one time,
someone told me today that Shaw Memorial and Atlantic City Medical Center emergency rooms were shut down.
I'm pretty certain that may be true. I know Shaw Memorial is more susceptible to shutting down than Atlantic City Hospital would be, because Atlantic City Hospital
room part.
Huh?
Emergency room. ER.
I think they are. I think what they're doing is, I'm not certain, and I haven't gotten any kind of feedback from the people I know who work as ER technicians and nurses and administrators that way. But I know something's stirring up. I don't know to what degree, but it could be because there's a limitation of rooms, that all the space that they can be had is now, remember, because they're not no longer counting the people who have COVID-19. They're only counting the people who are hospitalized. So I don't know if it's the space that they're trying to do, because they're holding people in the ER that had COVID and staying in the ER. And they were stacking people in hallways, in the triage centers and the hallways down It's really sad, man. And because the general population can't go in past the front doors, you don't see it. But if you have friends who work there, they'll tell you, yeah, it's heavy, it's thick, it's concerned. And imagine the burden, having a kind heart, trying to be helpful, the volunteers to try to be helpful and see stuff like that, man. That tears your heart apart.
Yeah, I have friends of mine who work in the hospital, and he's like, Adrian, the stuff that we see, man, it's like really sad,
Yep.
So one of my classmates worked at Atlantic City Medical Center, and so he's one of those technicians that actually, help people out in the whole 9 yards. And he's like, it's really bad,
Yeah.
I see things from the ground view, from the ground level.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's why I look at it. I'm like, I'm never going to be a point in time where I think I have to be separated from my emotion, from my humanity, to lie and be fictitious. No, everything's all right. No, fuck that. I'm going to be honest. It's true. If something is thick and it's heavy and it's concerning, I'm going to say it's thick, heavy, and concerning, point blank. Do what you can to avoid it. Do the best that you possibly can to avoid catching it, because the systems that we have to protect you and to address the issue if it gets worse may not be there for you, and may not be able to do it the way you need it done because of the amount of people that are there. And that's hard, man.
Well, like I told you, a lot of those numbers are going up like crazy. So everything that there's a problem going on now with, because you have to look at the health, education, and welfare, but it's more like the health and educational level. As far as on one side, you're dealing with the numbers, rising with COVID, but then on the other side, looking at labor. Mm-hmm. They both go hand in hand, to tell the truth, because you can't have a sick population, but expect to have a full working force going on at the same time. It's just not going to happen. You have to have a very healthy population to have a very healthy economy. That's just the way it works.
Well, that's what we're saying earlier on in the show, how the economy has been hit like crazy with COVID. And COVID, the impact is not only just the physical, but it's definitely the economic. I'm trying to get the latest report, latest data, coronavirus cases here in Jersey.
You know, the thing that trips me out, everywhere you go, some people are saying, well, it's just like the flu. Everybody's going to get it. You're going to get it sooner or later. I'm like, miss me with the bullshit. You know what I'm saying?
No,
You know, not everybody that goes to the beach drowns. You remember that?
exactly.
You know some of us know how to freaking swim.
We're all in America. Not all of us are going to get shot.
Exactly. You know, they're like, oh, yeah, don't worry about it. Everybody's going, no. You know, not everybody that goes to the beach drowns. That's just the bottom line. You know, some of us don't go in the water, and some of us know how to freaking swim.
The CDC reports as of January 13th, 23,672 cases, right, for the week. The total reported cases is it's 1.9 million cases in New Jersey alone. The 7-day average is 27,869 people within 7 days. That's a whole lot of damn people sick.
That's a very large population.
76 people die within 7 days of COVID here in New Jersey.
But Mo, those are 70. Now think about all of the available. Now think of two things. One, all of the families that are affected. Okay. Two, the number of jobs that's going to be affected. You know what I'm saying? You know, and three, all of the asset that these people have. Where does the asset goes to? The freaking government.
Oh yeah.
Okay, if they don't have any family member in the past, and you own a house, and the house is paid for in full, who are you going to pass it to? Uncle Sam is going to take it.
Big time. You know, this is crazy. Looking at this map, CDC is still talking about different things. But you look at the hotspots. The hotspots, hottest of hotspots is Camden County, Hudson County, Essex, and Middlesex County.
Mm-hmm.
That's up there. Huntington Valley, up that area. So Huntington Valley is known to be filled with New Yorkers leaving New York to live in Jersey. Jersey City, very compressed area. That's Essex County.
I was up there, so I know Jersey City is
dense.
Look, when you go inside the store, when you go into the ShopRite in Jersey City, automatically you must wear a mask. They don't want to hear no bullshit that, you know, oh yeah, I'm vaccinated. No, this says please wear a mask for that's it. And no if, ands, or maybe. Everybody that walk into that ShopRite, put a mask on. Period. They don't want to hear it. You know, that's just it. But down this way, we're a little more liberal. We walk up inside the ShopRite and all that kind of stuff, whether it's with or without. We don't care. But up that way, it's not happening that way.
And here's the other case. Matter of fact, I'll do a screen share. But if you look at the highlights suggest that the part of the state that seems to be really densely populated. It's also where we're subjected to. If you look at here in this area, New Jersey, Cumberland County, 337 cases within the last 7 days. 1 day, one death in Cumberland County. Camden County, all right, 351 in the last 7 days, 1 death. Atlantic County right here, 318,000, 1 death. Let's go up to Hudson County, 303, 7 days, 1 death. All right, you see these numbers. It's all trending within about 300 in 7 days. Look at the spikes. When we talk about Christmas, cases per day.
Well, I know it was going to come back. New Year's.
January 2nd, 11,281. Why? Because people were hanging the hell out.
The chicken came home to roost, my friend.
Hell yeah, people came out. They were hanging out. So here, January 13th, 2 weeks later, you had people January 8th, 31,000. Why? People hanging the hell out, going out, doing whatever they're doing, coming back from wherever they went to for the holidays.
Mo. Ain't no party like a gangster party because a gangster party don't stop.
We hit April 27th to 23rd, those areas. What was that? Easter. 3,000 cases around Easter. Says 134 deaths around Easter.
Hey, Mo. They were looking for the Easter egg, man. You just can't blame them for that. Everybody looking for an Easter egg, man. It doesn't matter where it's at. All right?
But it's that case that we talk about. People don't look at things and they want to act a certain
no
type of
party
way.
like a gangster party because the gangster party don't stop. Just remember that.
Yeah. Jitney drivers refusing to enforce mask wearing. Hell yeah, that's a damn shame. That's another game. When you talk about industry,
you see that right there is a problem because the jitney is the form of public transportation, and the law states specifically that if you are getting on the buses or any form of public transportation, you must wear a mask. It's the damn law.
Yep.
Okay, that's it. Period. It's the damn law. Okay, so if the drivers are not enforcing it, you could get their tag number and you could freaking report that ass.
You heard that, Renee? Report that ass. Report them. Why not?
Yep.
Because that is the law. That is the law.
Any form of public transportation or in public buildings, you must wear a mask.
And if Mercantile is aware of it, Mercantile is a license that is
tap that ass. Mercantile would tap that ass.
And if they don't do anything about it, they also get fined for not adhering to the law, for aiding and abetting.
Correct. You get on New Jersey Transit and you tell me what's going to happen if you don't wear a mask. They'll tell you you're not getting on this bus, Jack. And I know because my friends are bus drivers.
Hell yeah.
Any form of public transportation or public buildings, you must wear a mask.
It just makes sense anyway, man.
Yeah. You see, with ShopRites, and with Walmart, those are private. It's not public. It's private places where public actually go into. It's no different from like the casinos. The casinos are the same way also. That's private. It's not public. But the public so happens to go in there. That's why they could ban you from the casinos. And you can't say shit about it. So get that tag number and tag them. That's why they came up with cell phones.
Yep, get it.
And a picture is worth 1,000 words, so nobody can dispute that.
And you ain't got to explain yourself. Just when you take that picture, do what you need to do.
Yeah,
do something.
Exactly.
Each one should have the privilege and feel obliged to do something because you're saving a life that way.
Exactly. Because remember, you're in close quarters. As a matter of fact, according to the federal government today, they actually insist that a lot of people don't travel because a lot of people are traveling right now. There's this one lady who went to Jamaica. She flew down to Jamaica in the whole 9 yards. But before she could leave Jamaica, you got to take that test. She tested positive for COVID. They told her, sorry, you have to be in that hotel room. You just can't leave here.
7 days.
Yeah.
At least 7 days.
At least 7 days, 7 to 14 days. It depends, correct. And then there was this other lady who actually went to another part of the Caribbean also on a cruise. And she tested positive. She's locked inside the basement of the ship. And check that out. Yeah, and they told you can't leave. You can't get off here until you test positive. Negative, excuse me.
There's only one case that I've ever heard of someone making out, really good under these conditions. Someone went to Malaysia, and because of their testing, they were approved. They got onto the plane where to fly in the whole nine. When they got there, they were mandated to be placed under quarantine in a hotel for 10 days. The person who was flying, they did a video for this stuff, and I was watching this stuff. He was like, they put him up in a really 5-star hotel. The government paid for his stay while he was there, right? So he didn't pay anything out of his pockets to stay at this. He had room service every day, full amenities of this 5-star hotel in Malaysia. Beautiful view in the whole nine. Everything. 3 days that he was there, it was raining, so he couldn't do nothing. So he really didn't lose time. And then they made arrangements to have his stay elongated flight-wise. So he was good, covered. So it ended up being a win-win all the way around for him. I'm like, but how many times does that situation ever happen to other people?
No.
Very few. Very few.
No, because in China, if they come to find out that you tested positive and you're a visitor, they will lock you inside the damn room. They'll have people pay you a visit. They'll take away your damn cell phone also. So you just can't, contact any and everybody. And they will give you one of their prepaid cell phones. That if you want anything, you call them.
Hell yeah. That's if they don't take you on a boat and tell you get off and swim back. Because ain't nobody paying attention to what they're doing anyway.
Exactly. But like it says all over the globe right now, the numbers are trending upwards. So, the federal government said, don't travel. This is not the time to go on vacation. This is not it. Because if you go on vacation, you might end up getting stuck down there and be down there for a lot longer than you anticipate.
And a lot of people are really suffering. Like one of the topics that I was talking about was travel during the pandemic. You see some videos and some people who do travel, and they're able to enjoy the opportunity because there's been a lot of sales that people jump on it. You know what I mean? Last minute. And if you're able to, God bless you. I'm really happy that you can. I'm jealous that I can't do it with you. But you know what I mean? But the restrictions are there. And if you can't meet those restrictions, then you ain't getting on no damn plane. But again, it's that roulette that you're playing. What if you get there and all of a sudden COVID strikes? You stuck. They drop the flight. You can't get back.
Yep.
What?
Yeah.
That's happening all over the world. These airlines are cutting these flights. Last minute, not telling you.
This friend of mine, he loves to cruise over and over. Him and his wife been on many, many cruises. So I'm saying, like, yo, dude, when are you going on the next cruise? He said, what the hell are you talking about? I says, you like cruising, don't you? This is a perfect time. Cheap rates, though. He's not vaccinated. He's like, yo, my family and I, we ain't never going on another day of cruises again.
I see that shit.
Remember, I told you the freaking cruise is like a freaking petri dish. Yeah.
I saw a special on Norwegian that blew my mind. It was a 7-day stay and they say your destination 7-day Norwegian, and I think it was like for $500-$600. It was really rock bottom cheap. I was like, damn, this would have been great under better conditions. But that's what it is, a petri dish.
You have to remember, if you decide to take that cruise, it may just be your last cruise.
Hell yeah. You may not ever get to another port of call. What?
You know what I'm saying? You go to cruise live and you come on in a body bag. That shit don't make no sense to me. You know what I'm saying?
And then that's if you get in a body bag. You might be just floating in the ocean being shark bait somewhere.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Because some of these places, the port of calls, these destinations are closing their destination. They're not allowing these boats to land because of the potential risk that it has.
They said we don't need the money that damn bad because you kill off our population.
I think the Bahamas was one of the destinations that were known. They just closed their doors down totally because you had the Paradise Island set up, you had Atlantis, that whole setup, and you had all these ships coming on a regular basis. They said the amount of COVID cases coming in, their medical facility can't handle that type of thing. So they closed it down. It was like, yo, you can't even land. You can look at the island at a distance, but you can't come closer. And no, you can't bring your boats.
Yeah.
You can't come in.
Yeah. They've made it very difficult down in the Caribbean, man, for you to even get up inside of that place.
And I'm not hating.
I ain't mad at them either because remember, I'm from down that way. They're like, yo, the numbers are trending up, so these people are like, first of all, they don't trust the vaccine whatsoever. Second of all, there's a hard time getting the damn vaccine.
Oh yeah, may not get vaccinated. Nope, my roots are good. Roots and distance is good now.
Like that come from America. They're trying to kill all them black people up here. Don't bring that stuff down into me. And that's just the way they look at it.
I don't trust no American. Nope. No colonizer come down here and destroy my family. No.
They remember Christopher Columbus when he bring all that nonsense.
Last time somebody came in a boat, they fucked everything up. Yep, exactly.
He came on a cruise, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Cruise into the Caribbean and give all my people syphilis and stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Our folks don't remember from that shit. Don't trust nobody coming in with a damn boat.
No more cruising. You know what I'm saying?
I like that symbolism. Exactly. Fuck you and the boat. Nope.
Yeah, black people should now learn to get on these cruises because I know every year Tom Jordan likes to have a nice, Tom Jordan fantastic voice. This shit ain't fantastic no more, player.
Hell no.
It ain't fantastic no more. Did anybody tell you that?
No more.
Remember, when all these people were in Africa, how did they get to the United States? A cruise. Exactly.
That was told as a cruise. They were telling people it was a cruise.
They were telling them, go catch Kunta Kinte out there and let them know that we're going on a cruise. You know what I'm saying? And you end up in America. You end up in America. The same thing. Exactly. The Indians and stuff, same thing. You know, the time we're going on a cruise and they end up in Africa.
That's foul, man. They told him a lie. It was trying to ratchet him up.
Of course
Somebody
it was
you
a
have a
lie.
wonderful
Then,
cruise.
then they took him on a
Okay.
cruise and ended up building up the United States. You go figure. You know what I'm saying? It just doesn't add up. Free labor.
Yeah.
You know,
They
it
weren't
wasn't
told
free
it was a work.
labor. It wasn't free labor because they thought that they had to pay for the cruise somewhere, somehow, and they
Yeah,
paid for it in the form of labor. That's
Yeah,
what
they
they did.
paid. They paid with their lives and
They
generations.
paid with their lives. Exactly. It came with a very dear price.
Yeah.
You know, and
It
the
did
same
right
like
now.
I said with Christopher Columbus. He
Yeah.
took a cruise down there and he took them boys down there and it's like, yo, we just discovered the Caribbean and stuff, you know, and he called back in the whole 9 yards. You know, no, you didn't discover something that was already there. It's just that you just first time knowing about it.
That son of a bitch was just disgusting all the way
Yeah.
around. I tell you, man. Even to this day, every time you mention Columbus, it sort of sets me off in a certain type of way.
It's just a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths, you know.
If people knew the truth, Italian Americans wouldn't be so proud of that fucking rapist. Amerigo Vespucci, heck yeah, Nikola Tesla, absolutely.
Speaking about that, what do you think about Jeffrey Epstein and the Queen, you know, and the Prince that actually
All of those bastards, including the Clintons, should be prosecuted, should be held to the highest degree of justice for what they've done to all these kids that were involved, all the systems that were protecting these child predators. All of them should be held.
But let me ask you a question. What makes you think that Donald Trump somehow was not involved in that circle?
Ain't nobody said he was. I know he was. He took pictures. He saw pictures of him
into the 80s. I remember the 80s very well because it was very clear. Yeah, exactly. But not only that, they hung out at the Playboy Mansion, and that's where a lot of that stuff was going on. Is at the Playboy Mansion.
They were regular friends, pals. They were regular. Yes. That's one of the reasons why he had access the way he did. Because again, it seems to be that wretched way of power and money. You have somebody offering these opportunities for you, and all of a sudden, someone pops up and uses this corruption for their own personal benefit. Hey, Renee.
Hi, everybody. Hi, guys. Hanging in there.
Good.
Yeah.
What do you got? A red bulb in the background there, or what?
She got disco lights.
It's my TV set. It's my TV set that's on.
Well, I thought you went to hell or something with all that.
No. I'm trying to avoid all that now. Oh no.
What the hell? You know, she's diving in from hell. You know what I'm saying?
I know I have.
Been there.
Oh boy,
she's coming in from hell, Mo.
No. Oh boy. Whoa. You a mess, you a mess.
I was like, oh, what's all the red in the background?
No, that's my TV set.
Right there. The background is red. Sweetheart, we have no other tourists that draw that conclusion. You know what I'm saying?
I know.
I'm thinking you're watching Soul Train reruns in the back of the TV and all those lights or something. He got hell out of nowhere. Yeah. Wow, that's a good one.
Yeah. No.
Thank you for the
clarity.
Thanks for
clarity.
That's funny, man.
Yep. Well, my daughter finished college finally, so now it's the health.
Go, girl.
Congrats.
Yep.
Blessings to her.
Thanks. I don't even know if they're going to have a graduation at this point because they don't march until spring. But I don't know. I just don't know. She didn't go to her high school graduation and she did not go to her 8th grade graduation. So we might have to she said as long as she got the piece of paper, she don't care.
That's it.
That's right.
Because when she graduated from high school, all the kids were shocked because her name was on it with the startings because she was a 3.5 GPA in high school. Mm-hmm. So she fixed them. They bullied her, but she fixed them in the end.
That's right.
So, even if I want to still make some pictures for like we did for high school and college, and that's it, That'll be good enough. We'll think of something to get her.
Yeah, you go to a private photo studio somewhere, and you could actually have private photos taken, in the graduation outfit.
My ex is a photographer, Derek Park, so we're going to get him to do it. He promised that we would gift to her.
Really nice. Exactly. Because when I was in high school and I graduated, I put together a deal with the photographer.
He was already making deals back then. Dang.
That's my lifestyle. I'm telling you, the photographer. If you could get more people to come down here and take some pictures, you know what I'm saying? I'll hook you up. I said, not a problem, buddy. You know, and that's what I did. You know, so my pictures are on the wall and stuff. You know, the whole gown and the whole 9 yards. Yeah.
Wow. Not
So,
bad. I still have my high school graduation pictures. I have hers, mine's, my mom's,
yeah.
some high school graduation pictures. I still have all those.
Yeah.
Because how we do record our history, we use pictures
Mm-hmm. Very much so.
with
That's
dates
what we
and
are.
everything on the back. That way, everybody know who everybody is.
Good, good.
Well, you can always green screen it too. Portray
Yeah,
like
that's
you're
true.
having a live session. You know,
Yeah.
just release the video aspect. You can have fun with it.
Yeah,
That's cool.
but you know, that was a jitney driver that really was, you know, ridiculous. And yeah, they're going to give you cruises for $600, but are you willing to take that risk? You know, they want to go on a cruise for my class reunion, around the Back Bay or the ocean or something. I'm like, I don't think so, guys.
Yeah, the class
The class of
reunion.
1982.
Yeah.
I don't think so. My doctor will have a heart attack.
Huh?
Those booze cruises are something different though. They're just around the island. That shit is funny.
Yeah,
I went on one. My cousin had her reception on one. I sat on the front of the boat. My legs picked up on it, put my feet up on the front of the boat because I'd been sick that day and I wasn't about to be seasick. But I still enjoyed myself.
Okay.
That is nasty. Mm-hmm. I believe it.
Yeah,
They're fun.
Yep.
Under certain circumstances, they could be fun around people that you trust. You know.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, but they have that coming up in sometime in midsummer, somewhere around in June, July, or something like that. So,
Yeah. Class of 82 ACHS Vikings. Here we go. But I just talked to a classmate of mine and she's saying she's not sure whether she's going to go. I had friends. We had a mini reunion. So with my best friends, is my closest girlfriend. So it's like, you know, I might not even go, you know, because we already had our former Boston last year.
Yeah, a lot of people might end up missing this. You know, I mean, I like to see everybody. There's no doubt about it. You know, because I've missed a lot of those things in the past. I've been busy working. You know, so
I graduated in 1988. I have yet to go to a high school reunion. No, I haven't gone to any one of them. And I always said this. When you go to reunions, it's usually for people hooking up that didn't hook up back in the past, trying to relive their teen lives.
But they said,
or in situations where people like to try to show off that they're so much better than they were or something like this. Very seldom see something uniquely pure or just want to be around people that you had a good time with back in the day. Seldom. Most is always like, remember that time? Yeah, Judy was fly as hell in high school. I ain't get with her tonight though. Watch.
Oh boy, here we go again. Yeah, my daughter wants to go to her class reunion when it's time. She graduated in 2016. But I'm like, you might get in trouble the way you want to roll, my dear. She would do something. I ain't in the house. You know, because her and her classmates, she didn't know a lot of them, and the ones that she did know, she didn't get along with. So I'm like, it ain't no sense in going. Because I'm scared you're going to get into something.
It'd be Carrie all over again.
Yep. I'm like, no, I don't think so. You better stay home.
Yeah, those were the good old days, Renee. The class of 82. You know what to do. Yeah, I enjoyed myself in high school to the max. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Yeah, dog.
That was the thing. You know what to do. Class 82, you know what to do.
Yeah,
you know what? Class 82 can do a Zoom or something. A few people get together, do a Zoom like we did for Christmas and everything. You know, put on the old music. You know, the one with the Indian song, or Unga, Unga, Unga. You know, Sugar Hill Gang. That one. Remember the one we used to like to dance to?
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and we just have a good time that way. That's fun. I just don't want to get sick.
I'm being
realistic. I have no immune system. I'm not going.
Atlantic City in New Jersey is not that damn big where you don't run into the people you went to school or high school.
That's true.
You run into them all. It may be a small percentage of people that may have gone far away.
Correct.
Okay?
Right.
But the way Facebook is, it takes 2 clicks. Bam, you see him.
Yeah. That is. Well, I just learned that the guy that was my escort in the debutante ball just lost his mom, Keith Cundiff's grandmother. You know, Miss Marcella. She used to work for Dyfus here in Atlantic City. She passed away. And I was thinking about going to just run through, you know, to say hi to everybody, but I have to really be careful. I can't always do that now. Mm-hmm. You know? I'll see.
Hey, look, if you can have a cookout on Zoom, why the hell not, right?
Yep. Well, we lost my cousin in November. I had to go to that one. I just walked through, looked at his body and left because I couldn't take the risk. But as long as I showed my face in the place, I was okay. That's family. That's blood.
Yeah, different.
You know,
When
Different.
my
We're living in difficult times, so
yeah.
we have to be careful with ourselves and everything else. That's just what it really boils down to.
my
I
I
remember
just
what
talked
you
to a
said, man.
minister friend of mine the other day, and she told me, she said she just lost her goddaughter, and she got her goddaughter died of COVID. And well, I ain't gonna say how they do the bodies and stuff because they don't, and they just throw you in the casket and close it up, and it's a closed casket. I said,
man,
well, y'all, you know what? The best thing to do is like my mom did. Just instead of having a closed casket, just cremate the person, and then that way you have a big picture of them, like I did with my mom, and that way you can see the person, but not it's better that way. I think for right
people have
now.
their, people have their own traditions when it comes to funerals and so on and so forth. So
That's true.
whatever people do, it's all to them. I
That's
told my
true.
wife, told my son, when it's time for mine to, don't make a big parade, don't make a big show, burn me, put me in ashes, toss me in the water, and call it a night. Leave the debt minimal, leave the memories while I'm in the living. Give me the flowers while I'm alive. All
Yep.
that.
Well, me, I have I'm going to be cremated. I already have my urn, and my daughter has hers. Mine's is blue with silver doves on it. That's good enough.
Okay.
It's no sense to put that in the ground.
Okay.
Give
You're
you a
good.
proper
You're gonna have your own urn. Okay.
Yeah. I'm gonna have a memorial service, and that's it. What else can you do with me? Nothing.
Nope. I want people to remember me for who I am. I'm gonna have a cookout. I paid for it before I died. Enjoy the food.
It'll be,
Choke on
yeah,
that.
that'll be fun. Yeah,
Don't choke on it.
And the mojito. Don't forget the drinks.
No, you see my bar stacked in the back. What's up? You know how
Yeah, I
I,
know. I
I,
know. I
I keep.
can't drink anymore. I was just talking to a classmate of mine, and she told me the last time she drank, she passed, had a blackout, fell backwards, hit her head. She said, "That's it. I'm done. No more. I'm done." She has not touched a drink since then.
Last time I had a good cocktail, I was on the show one time, and I had to hold myself back because I was feeling it. My words were starting to slur. I said, "Oh no."
Well, you gotta know this. If one company contacted me today, when I was on the road, and it says, Adrian, someone has reported that you were intoxicated while driving. They reported you intoxicated while driving. I said, well, you're calling me now and I'm driving right now.
I don't understand how dry you are. You haven't used alcohol swabs in a long time, let
No,
alone.
I tell everybody that the first thing they start doing is just start laughing hysterically. You know what I'm saying? They start laughing hysterically because I'm not a drinker. I can't drink, That's just the way I've been.
That's crazy.
They don't get it. They don't get it.
Yeah, but the joke on whoever made that call, the joke's on you, Jack. That's the truth,
People always they'll complain about all kinds of stupid shit just because
they will. Just because you're black and they figure they find a way to harass you or get you and stuff. And a lot of these people in these jobs, whether it's casino, and I've been there because I had to take on big corporations and one against them, one against Caesars, one against the Board of Education. Mo, you were there that night when I had to exit stage left. They're just making it harder. Now the workers are standing up because without us, there's no them. That's just the way that it is. And they're beginning to realize this, but no amount of money is also worth your life. That's another thing you have to look at.
Absolutely. Correct. Absolutely. I just we were just talking about people being responsible for actions and doing stuff. I just saw something the other day that sort of all I kept thinking was, this guy's a better man than me. This is the scenario. This was Ayanla, the show with Ayanla Van Zandt. You know how she thinks and suggests. Apparently, it was a couple who had a relationship, and in this relationship, they had 3 daughters. Later on in life, the mother had passed away, but the grandmother got in their lives. Grandmother had accused the father of sexually abusing his daughters.
Oh boy!
And told them that their father had sexually abused, and they had no contact with the father no more. He had to live ongoing for quite a long time. These young ladies looked like they were in the late 20s, early 30s. He was much older, of course, and forever. And at the very end, the DNA testing that they had, Ayanla Van Zandt had the lie detector test, and the test was proved. And the question was had, and he came out to test negative for lying. He said
Wow.
he wasn't deceptive. He told the truth. But the mother or the grandmother of the daughters did lie, and she confessed. I couldn't stand him so much. I made up the lie. I'm like, who the fuck
Oh, that's
think of
messed
making
up.
up a lie, saying your father molested you? That's the most horrible thing. And the guy says, I can't accept your apology. I'm like, you're better than me, because it wouldn't have been an apology. I would have had her ass prosecuted to the highest level, because you first you terrorized these young ladies by making them feel that they were abused. So that's one thing.
Yeah.
Secondly, you accuse the father. That's another charge that you don't do.
Mm-hmm.
And those are things, regardless of your want and desire to be this evil ass woman, you are not supposed to do that stuff. And because the mother had passed away, you took their only link to parents that they had.
Yep.
So evil. And I was like, yo, you better than me, because I'd have had her ass locked up, prosecuted, in the whole nine.
Exactly.
Everything.
Well, you see what the queen did to her son. Now he's been proven, because they got pictures of him.
Yeah, that's what
And I saw a picture of Clinton in a dress on the guy's wall, on Epstein's wall. And I'm like, what's going on here?
Clinton was
How's
a
Hillary
regular.
going to live this one down?
The same circle. They all ran Trump and the Clintons and Epstein.
Clinton ran it regular.
All of them.
And all I kept thinking was, remember, everybody kept thinking, okay, cool, Hillary Clinton. She was aiding the Biden, covering up his ass.
Mm-hmm.
She knew about some of the instances, and she covered up on his ass.
But look at something, Mo.
You got a lot of women that do that stuff, and it's basically for the money and the prestige,
and
and sometimes not even for that.
But look at the circle that it ran in. You had Epstein, you have the prince, from Britain, you have Trump, you have Clinton. Now, two of them went on to be presidents of the United States, Clinton and freaking Trump, and both of them was freaking impeached. How ironic.
Oh, he had many
Both
of people high level.
Both of them was impeached.
Yep.
Well, you see what happened to the queen's son. She cut him off. She's like, bye. I'm done with you behind.
Stripped him of his rank. Period. She was
Yeah, she stripped him of his rank and everything. His military clearance, everything.
And look at that other chick that was with Epstein. They're getting ready to throw her ass in the tank for a long time.
Yeah, they got her finally, which is a good thing.
They need to get her ass too. They need to get ass too. I watched a special on it was a Netflix documentary about the people who worked alongside, and it was horrendous. The amount of people that went. They said one person started working there one day, and inside the house, it was whatever island they were. That house. He said he was working there. That one day he had to work there. He saw all these young people, these young girls and stuff like that. The minute he saw one thing that was inappropriate, he bounced. He called the authorities. Like, don't worry about them. They have security, and they never went to do anything about this house.
But there's one other person that you guys are actually missing out of this whole scenario.
Who?
Bill Cosby. Bill Cosby was hanging out at the Playboy Mansion with the grotto with those young girls also. And look how he's being hemmed up for that same situation also.
Shit, Hugh Hefner, a life full of debauchery.
That's what I said. They all hung out at Hugh Hefner's
dead and gone.
Mansion,
unfortunately.
the grotto. That's what they call the pool area, the grotto.
Yep, I've seen it.
Nasty ass, man.
Yeah. Let me ask you a question. If someone is like 19 years old, do you think they should be dating a 25-year-old?
You're an adult. After 18 years old, there's not much you can do.
Right, exactly. The Lord says 18 and older, you're old enough to be an adult, a legal adult. You can sign contracts and stuff. But anything under 18, then the responsibility falls on the adult. So now you have child molestation or anything else in that manner.
And that's only based on the state. Because there's some states where
they go back
to marry at 14 and 15-year-olds.
And 16, correct.
Oh, boy.
It depends.
Because I know New Jersey is 16, right?
18. 18 is Jersey.
Jersey.
It is 18?
Yeah, 18 legal age.
16.
16 for what, Mo?
16. They can legally get married at 16.
What, in Jersey?
In Jersey.
Wow.
You gotta show me that one, player. Because I thought it was 18 all along.
There was a case here in Jersey I would say about 5 or 6 years ago. And the whole case was about the interaction between someone who was 16 and a person who was 19 years old. And it's going back and forth about, the age difference. and the kid running away. They was trying to prosecute, and the whole case was because he was of legal age and she wasn't at that time. This is what the discussion was. But the end result was they were both at legal age to marry. So
Right.
nothing had taken place at that time. So it was 16.
Okay.
I'm trying to remember the case, and it was heavy because people were
Yeah.
thinking, oh shit, how the hell that happened? Because one was 19 and she was 16, the little girl 16, but because of the state of New Jersey, they were able to. But
Yeah.
that
How long
closed
has
the
that
door.
law been in place for? Because I know back 1983 was how long has that law been for 16? How long has that law been on the books?
I don't know. And you know what?
Hmm.
And I would be mistaken. I wouldn't even. I would trust that after that situation, the law may have been altered. But I know that
Right.
was one of the biggest cases that I looked at because I dealt with children a lot in my life working in social work and
Right.
with children molestation cases and so on. I've been made aware of how a lot of little intricate little loopholes and shit happens where a lot of these predators get away with stuff. And
Yeah, they
one of
do.
those cases were one of that. But I'm hoping that it changed shortly after that. But 16 was the 8. And I kept thinking 16. They said that's nothing. Places like Mississippi and Louisiana had 14. And there's states like Arizona that had no age. It was never identified what age someone had to be married. Never. It was
Oh,
never a number. It was suggested that someone should be mature. It was some suggested that someone needs to be legally responsible, but it was never a number. I said, how the hell can that float out? But people weren't paying attention. The law is funky, man. There's so many backdoor things in the law that suggest you can get away. And if you know the law, if you have a good lawyer, you can finagle your way out on almost everything.
Hey Mo, I'm
Yeah.
looking at something just now. I decided to Google exactly what you was
I
telling me
figured.
about.
Mhm.
Right.
And it actually says code section 37:1-6. Minimum legal age with parental consent is 18. And this is New Jersey.
Right.
Okay. It says minors under the age of 18 cannot get married in New Jersey.
Okay.
Well,
So,
that's marriage.
Right. Marriage.
Sex is different.
Yeah.
okay, but then they have this thing called statutory rape.
That's the difference.
You see, because if you actually get with somebody underage, under the age of 18, it becomes statutory rape.
Wow.
Legal rape.
So
Remember, you said the
there's a
consent.
fine line in there. There's a
The
fine line
consent,
in
right?
there.
Because you have a consent to marriage and not a consent to marry. Then you have legal consent
Because
for.
I saw a case like that where it's actually held on the young man on, I believe it was in Jersey also, because the girl was under the age of 18 and he was like 18 or 19, something like that, statutory rape. They brought him up on charges.
Wow.
I've heard cases where the person,
It says right here.
girl was
So the thing about it is that where I think that having been a former educator myself, they need to educate these young people who are in high school about what legal, because a lot of these kids are doing things, and some of them are 18, and some of them are that that parameter. They need to really start showing these kids because a lot of them are getting into things, getting into trouble. I know girls that were messing with 30-year-old men and they 16.
It says
Back in my day.
New Hampshire is one of those states where the age of 14 for males and age of 13 for females, with parental, consent.
People need to really be up on the law because a lot of these people getting locked up. Some of them don't know their kids. They don't understand. They haven't had time. Especially 18. They're just, doing what teenagers do.
But
And they need to be educated.
the people who can change the law don't do it.
Nope.
It takes someone. It takes a big case to come around and someone to influence getting a state senator or a state assemblyman somewhere to change the law in the state, or the state representative, House of Representatives to create a federal law to protect certain things.
Here it is right here, because it says New Jersey banned child marriages. The new law raises the minimum age to 18.
What year was that? What year was that?
This dates back to this particular one. It says 2018, June 22nd, 2018. Governor Murphy on Friday signed a law which set the minimum age for marriage in New Jersey at 18. There you have it.
2018 wasn't that long ago. See, that's what I'm talking. I'm glad that it raised it, but
yeah, it did.
There's too many there's too many loopholes that people get away with, and the American culture of preying on children still exists. It's too much. It's too easily had, and it's too supported by everything. From we talk about hip hop culture when they talked about Jay-Z and Dame Dash messing around with people so young, like when the young girl who died, what was her name?
Aaliyah.
Aaliyah, right? She was
Well, now let me tell you
underage with R.
something.
Kelly.
Love ain't nothing but a number. On the album cover, you see her in the front and him hanging back and looking at her with the phone, and I'm like, this is really creep show here. I mean, this is really showing him what he really was doing, and I'm like, this is scary.
Right. In the 50s and 40s, you had Jerry Lee Lewis marrying his 14-year-old cousin.
Yeah.
Having sex with his cousin. The American culture.
Woody Allen. Anybody remember that guy?
Oh, yeah. Marrying
his stepdaughter. There's another one.
How do you adopt a girl of foreign descent, raise her as a child, to then make her your bride? That's kind of cool, man.
He's sick. He's a weirdo anyway. Another one that was grooming, and this is my favorite artist, and I didn't realize was Prince and Maite. She was 16. Oh. Now I don't know if she's from a foreign country, and from Minneapolis, it's every state varies. Everything, he was raising her. He was her guardian because she was performing with him. But I'm not going to have my 16-year-old daughter, whatever, on stage with a grown 30-some-year-old man performing sexual acts. That's just not happening.
Look at something here, Renee, because let's go back to a biblical, perspective. It says, "Raise up a child in the way they should go, and when they get older, will not depart from it." You have to raise your own kids in your house properly, because when they get out into the world don't give a damn. That's just the bottom line.
Eat them alive.
Exactly. So that's just the way it is. If you don't raise them the right way in the house, when they get out, they're cut up. Just like someone says, a lot of the pastors and the preachers, their sons and daughters are some of the ones who are off the hook when they get out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they are. They are. Well, I had to get with my daughter about a certain guy, and come to find out he was related to us through marriage, and I wasn't having it. I just went through the roof, and I just shut it down.
That's
you have to do what you have to do.
But you see, the thing about that is because a lot of people do not share their family history with other family members. And when you don't do that, that's what happens. That's what happens.
Being in the same town, coming from the same family,
but you don't
acting bougie.
But Mo, you can live in the same damn town, but you can live on the opposite side of the town, grow up different ways and different sides. One day you strolling down the street and you see this boy or this girl and you say, "Wow, she looks good," but you have no idea that she's part of your family tree. Mm-hmm. You have no idea. You see, but that's the importance of having family reunions, keeping your family in touch with the other members of your family. You have to blame the adults for this stuff because a lot of the adults don't even want their kids to socialize with any one of the other family members. But then love is blind, because then love is going to creep up inside of there and they're going to get together, and then you won't be able to stop the train because it's going to be a train wreck. That's the problem.
And you hear stories galore how people are messing around with individuals and find out later when they're
brothers and sisters never even met each other, but now they're so in love you can't break them apart because they're legal age. You can't do nothing.
But see, I had a class family reunion, and my cousin, he passed away. His name was Mo, little Mo, a Mo's chicken, his son. And we met at a family reunion. Said, "Oh, damn, you my cousin. Can't mess with." I said, "Nope, we can be friends."
Wait. Say that again, Renee.
My cousin, little Mo, he was with Mo. His father was Mo of Mo's Chicken.
Are you related to him? First
yes,
of all,
I am. I am. That's my blood.
What relations are you to him?
My grandmother was his aunt, was his great aunt.
So you related to him?
Mo yes, I am.
Okay, Mo.
He passed away.
Yes, that's my nephew.
Yeah. So my grandmother was Carrie Minnick, and the family had a split, and we didn't know each other.
He married my oldest.
Adrian's your cousin.
Yes.
Yeah.
He married my niece.
So Renee, he's your cousin. Adrian's your cousin.
See what I mean? Here we go.
That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Yeah.
You don't know.
What's that?
No, we didn't know, because the family split apart.
That's what
you gotta call me, AG. Now explain what happened.
Wait, Renee. I had Gina on here at one time, and Gina was actually saying that she was married to someone by the name of Kia. Had no idea that he was my nephew also. Mm-hmm. And Mo, I know Mo because I was at his funeral when he passed away. That's he has a son, and that's my
Right.
nephew. That's my great nephew.
Yeah, I was in the hospital sick. Otherwise, I would have came to the funeral. I couldn't. I was in the hospital dying at the time and couldn't make it.
His son name is Zaire.
Yes, we used to talk every time we meet up with each other. We would talk about the kids and everything and all. And
that's my.
We were comical mess. We were a mess when we got together.
Hey Mo, you see, I'm related to a lot of these jokers, but they don't even know it. It's something. Yeah.
What I say about AC? AC means all cousins.
And trust me, I'm related to a lot of these people, whether directly or and most find that out because, like it says, that's why I was saying, whoa. I know Mo. I know when he got married to my niece, my oldest niece, Susan.
Mm-hmm.
That's my niece. That's his wife or his ex-wife.
Yep.
And Zaire is my great nephew.
Mm-hmm. All of them, and that's it. I have to explain the whole story to you next time, AG. When if you call me, I'll let you know what happened. But you just don't know who is who. You
got to ask questions, and nowadays it's like having a resume ready.
Hey, Mo,
I want to have a contract. I want to make sure I know who your parents are, your parents' parents, your great parents, and a blood test.
My teacher always said the dumbest questions are the ones you don't ask.
Right.
Because when you don't ask those questions, you won't find out the answers. And just like you just found out, because like I say indirectly, you're related to me through, Mo.
Mm-hmm.
And
I miss my buddy though.
What's that?
I miss my buddy though. I miss him meeting him on the street because we could always have a good conversation.
Do you remember this young lady that went to school with us? Her name is Lisa Brown.
Yes. Which one, Lisa? Which one? Because there are two Lisa Browns I know.
Correct. Exactly. One of them played basketball and the other one didn't.
Yes, I know which one is the one. Lisa Oliver.
Lisa. No, not Lisa Oliver. No, that's the one that played basketball. That's the one that was in my class. Okay.
Right.
But the other Lisa Brown was also in my class. Also, the class of '82. Right. She works in breakfast, and she come to find out that she's also related to me because my niece, her cousin married my niece, so she's related to me also. And Lisa tonight, she's like, Adrian, get the hell out of here. And she's like, I always liked you when I was in high school and stuff. I says, yeah, but now you're related to my ass.
Oh no! And then I relate. I know we went to school together. We didn't get along. Wait till she sees his about this one. This is crazy.
Yeah, all of them.
This is crazy. I went to school with her through Catholic school 8 years.
Well, I'm telling you, they're married to my family, and these people don't even know it. I'm finding this thing out the hard way. So Gina and Renee, and like it says, and Lisa.
You have a family reunion, it'd be huge.
Yup, it would be a mess. We have it off the chain. You know how we do.
And that's the reason why I say it's so important that people know who their family members really are.
Absolutely.
You see, and we have to blame the adults. You can't blame the kids. You got to blame the adults.
Because they get nasty, man. Don't want to speak. Don't want to talk to each other. And that's the reason why the family broke up.
The family breaks up simply because one member of the family, I don't want my kids talking to that member of the family and vice versa. I just found out that one of my nephew, is going to school to be a doctor, and on the other side, it's like really bizarre because I have another one that's doing the same thing also.
I just found out that my godparents were related to Colin Powell. I'm like, uh-oh. Now see, I'm like, well, oh boy.
Yeah.
I come from Puerto Rican parentage, so I'm just about related to every Puerto Rican on the planet. That's how we are.
Yep.
So yeah, it's a small world, but like I said, people need to communicate. People need to communicate because, like I said, it's coming up out of Atlantic. My family came from the Caribbean in the 70s, in the mid 70s, and we've gotten to know a lot of people. We start off. I don't know if you're familiar with the Baker family, Charlie the Baker and all of those guys. That became a huge. They were a big family back then. The Bradways, the Blackwells, the Bakers, from families ran Atlantic City.
Wow.
And come to find out, like it says, my family came up with the Baker family. Off in New Jersey.
Well, I don't know if you remember, Mo, you might remember him, Eddie Byard. That's my uncle. He helped raise me.
Big Eddie, yeah.
Yup. That was my uncle, through marriage and all, he was extended family, but he helped raise me. After my uncle Leroy passed, and my uncle, he was from the islands. Leroy Evans was from the Bahamas.
Well, get a load of this. My best friend, who married this young lady from Brooklyn, New York, he's just going to find out. I knew it all along that his wife, is is married, to her last name is Boyce, but my sister in New York, her last name is also Boyce.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
they come a part of the same family, but he had no idea that his wife has the same family as my sister.
Mhm.
Oh wow.
He's my best friend. And he
And
was
see
over
the
my
thing
house a
about
few days ago, and he's
yeah,
like,
the
"Your
same thing
sister."
about it. If people go to get married and they take them DNA tests and they find out they're related, how do you deal with that one?
Exactly. That's going to be the problem in the future. That is
Yeah,
going to be the problem in the future.
right. Because you don't do DNA tests now.
Correct. That is going to be a huge problem in the future. It's going to be a huge hindrance.
People, I don't know. It's confusing because like with my daughter's father's family, we don't get along. But I let her know who her dad was. I had pictures and everything and all this that and it was so she would know who they are, even though they don't communicate. They do communicate, but she knows who her family is.
That's the proper thing to do, right? Hmm.
Yeah, but see, the
Yeah.
thing about it is, like you said, Renee, because, I've caught myself up in a little trap like that one time till after the fact that some of these people don't know who the family members who you're dating, because nobody communicates. Nobody communicates with each other until after the fact. Well, wait a minute. You were dating my niece. I'm like, well, your niece went to school with me. We were tight back then. You know what I'm saying? And
Hmm.
like, you dated me way back when. Well, I'm like, I didn't know that. You know what I'm saying? So it's just one of those things. It's going to be a mess in the future, and I see it happening.
It is. They're going to have to do something about it, or we as people are going to have them do something about it because
But
it's
the thing
getting
about
rough.
it, when you have the black on black crime, you have black people killing their family members and they don't even freaking know it. That's what you
Yep.
have when you have the inner city black on black crime and the gangs and stuff.
Hmm.
One part might be a blood, one part might be a crip, and you kill the other one. That's your probably cousin or distant cousin or your mother's cousin or whatever the hell it is.
Yep, guaranteed they're related. Yep.
Yeah, somewhere down the line you're related, but you just killed off one of your family members.
Like,
I don't
dang.
even think
Wow.
that's not even. You know what's sad to say? It's not even a moral issue. Like that's not even a debate. People don't think of its impact long term, legacy wise, because it happens so often. You killing your relatives. Are you thinking, wow, that's really hard. That's a difficult thing
Or
to do.
even having a baby by a relative that you don't know. What is the long-term effects DNA wise on your bloodline? That's another thing. You
Genetically,
have
I mean,
really got to look at that.
we see how the end results of people inbreeding at times may not necessarily look like we would assume. Because there's people who are products of a brother raping a sister that we see all the time. And people aren't making any kind of thing about that. But
Connection.
I'm like, it's not the child shouldn't have to pay for those bad things that have happened to the mom or whatever the situation interactions. But we have to be responsible as human beings. If we interact with someone who's related to us, the
Yep.
potential child, if you do have a child, could end up being sick, could end up being deficient. Does that
Correct.
child deserve to be that way? No, you had to be
Yeah,
more
but
responsible all the time.
at the same time, when families don't communicate and have
It's more of a
family
chance to happen.
reunions to know exactly what's going on, so much is being slipped through the cracks that
Yep.
it's ridiculous. Imagine if you need a blood transfusion or something like that, and now you're looking for a blood transfusion, but then you have no idea that the person that probably was taking care of you or
Right.
whatever the case may have been a relative of yours,
Yep.
and the bloodline probably matched up. People don't think of
Yep.
all of these things,
Well,
Well, I
yeah.
was given a blood transfusion and it didn't go too good. My doctor said I will never give you another blood transfusion. No way. Not the way I acted.
you see,
You
because you
know?
need to know, like some people want a kidney or whatever the case may be, but then there are people in their family that wouldn't mind donating a kidney because they sign the driver's license and you check it off on
Right.
the back, and your family member might need it, but you don't know it because you don't communicate.
Right.
So you
Right.
have to, once again, you have to blame the parents. It goes right back to the square root on the parents' shoulder. Get your family to know where they came from, their roots, and the whole damn 9 yards. Because my
Mhm.
sister, one of my sisters was telling me, like, Adrian, I couldn't even tell my kids, my background, my history and stuff. But so when I actually told her and told the kids, I'm like, you have a very rich family history and you have to know
Mhm.
about it. Because if you
Yep.
don't know about it, you're going to lose it and you'll be condemned to whatever nonsense that people are going to feed you.
Right.
And this is the problem. So people have to
Yep.
be, really conscious of your background. Look, you were laughing hysterically about an hour ago. All these that about Mo. You know, when I had to shut you down, I'm like, look, that's my freaking nephew that passed away. I know.
Yeah.
You know, and his
You
son
know,
is
and
doing
that
the
was my
lady.
great grandmother's great nephew. And I'm like, because somebody had said something. I'm like, no, that's my grandmother's great nephew. Knock it off. Because I will go to bat for my family because someone his sister had come online and said someone was trying to, say that they were going to have something to do with Mo's chicken or something up at something they were having. And I told my cousin, I said, you got to shut that down. If you guys don't want it, your mom was his wife, she can shut that down. That's not, and you're not promoting that. Shut them down. Get a legal injunction. Your mom worked for the court system. She can shut them down.
There-
They shouldn't be doing that.
there's some controversy behind it because I was told that whoever it was didn't get the authority of a lot of the family members, but apparently the person who did put it on is a family member. Was it a son? Something like that. I don't know, but the sense of family and the whole title of family is looked at by people differently. Some people only utilize the word family when it's advantageous to them. And in
Mm-hmm.
some instances, we don't claim our family when there are blemishes on society. We
Mm-hmm.
have people who are just straight up crooks, thieves, hookers,
That's
drug.
true.
We won't claim them.
Let me ask you a question. Because I remember at one time before you know that I was related to Alan, what were you thinking? Because at one time, my younger brother,
Right.
because a lot of people knew him before they knew me.
hmm
You know, and a lot of people are like, wait a minute, I never even knew that he had a freaking other brother. I'm like, yeah, I'm the one that a lot of people don't know about. You
you know
know,
what? To tell you honest, I didn't have much of a thought to it because I don't really ask a lot of questions, and I try not to make too many links because I guess I think ahead of time that people are going to be related anyway, and when I find out what they're not related, that's when it surprises me.
okay,
So I mean,
Mm-hmm.
because you guys look so similar, of course you have family traits. You know
correct.
what I mean? It was a natural, and then the last name, it was like, okay, cool. A Hugs, Alan, okay, Adrian, okay, possibility, yeah, all right. So when you told me, I was like, okay, cool. It
Well,
wasn't a big surprise.
okay, you know, the reason why I said it because at times people are surprised. You know, because they say the way he comes across is just like a lot of people think that he's probably like the single child. You
Right,
know what I'm saying?
right.
You know,
Like exactly,
he has other siblings. Is what
right.
I'm actually saying. That's my point.
No, right. You're right on point. You're right on point. Like when you interact with me, not a lot of people know that I have a lot of siblings. I have 6 on my mother's side, and I've got
Mm-hmm.
about 5 to no, I've got about 10 on my father's side. I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't raised with them, but they're still my siblings, and
Okay.
I don't deny my family. I'm very proud of getting to know who they are, but I'm only dolo between my mother and father.
Okay.
So, you know what I mean? I'm related to a lot, but you don't hear me because I don't get a chance to actually interact and intermingle with my family members the way I may have wanted in the past. But I'm a grown ass man now. I try to make sure I'm making contact with my brothers and sisters when I can, utilizing Facebook,
Yeah.
and then remembering my nephews and nieces because I want my son to know who his cousins are. Because that's another link. The more you find out the world it is, my son will travel. He'll go someplace and bam, run into a cousin and be like, "Yeah, I got this fine ass girl." And find out that's your cousin. Oh, now back up. Don't even try it.
Yeah.
That's your cousin, you know.
That's why family reunions and some of these things are very important. And with Facebook and some of these other platforms, people should use it as a form of
It's helpful.
communication.
Yeah,
We
Where
do. We
okay,
do.
this is
it's
my
helpful.
cousin, this is my brother, my niece, or whatever the case may be. But you might shoot something out there and they're like, oh no, we're not related, you know what I'm saying? Something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But for the most part, people really need to know their history.
Yep.
And that's what's happening. That's the biggest problem I've come across.
Yep. It's funny. My wife, we joke around about how I stay more in contact with her family than theirs, than she does. Um, I've since we've been married, right before I was adopted by the family per se, so I looked at them as family. So the family in Virginia, Georgia, and now with the bigger family that we have through the new norm, Mississippi, New Orleans, California, all the other areas we reached out. You get to see how the world ain't that damn big. It's big, but not that damn big that you can't get in contact with people. At least be familiar with one another, especially with all these different type of media that you have. There's no reason why you can't be at least familiar with who these people
You're right. You're absolutely right.
are. But I'm never blows my mind when Adrian says, "Oh, that's my cousin." I believe it.
Yep.
I believe it. He tells me all the time, "Oh, yeah, that's my cousin." I'm like, "Yep, I believe it."
Yeah.
I'm waiting to hear that person's not related to him. Then I'll be shocked. Get out of here. No,
Yeah,
you better look into it.
You know, because I go on my brother's Facebook page and they're like, "Yo, you know, happy birthday, bro," and I'm like, "Oh, cuz," or whatever. I'm like, it just like, it's it's like really, really weird. And some of the people like Renee just gonna find out, and Lisa found out. You know what I'm saying? And Gina found out that we're all intermingled. We all came up out of the same clan.
Yep. Genetically,
Yep.
tribe is out there. Yep. That's all.
So
We're
now
all
you
part of
know.
one tribe.
So now, hey Renee. So now you know when people are talking trash about me, you can shut them down now, right?
Don't worry, I will. They won't be saying too much when I get through. I don't play that. I don't play that at all.
What's that?
I don't play that at all. See, Uncle Eddie married Ruth Byard, and Valerie McQueen is my best girlfriend. So guess how that goes.
Woo. Yeah.
Like I said, it's a small, like, remember Disney World back in the day? It's a small world after all.
What it is.
Hell yeah.
And the internet, Facebook just made it smaller.
It made it very minute. Yes, it has. Yeah, no doubt.
It's in vivid color these days. That's all.
Yeah, a lot of people being related left and right. And when they come on this show, it tickles the hell out of me. When they start mentioning these people's names, and I start laughing hysterically.
It's like, what is it? 1 out of every 5 shows, he'll see a new cousin.
Yep.
Hey, Gina, the funny thing about this, because Mo used to tease me, those people from India. He's like, yeah, they messing with the high speed internet service. Yep. They're Adrian's cousins, but they couldn't find out the people that show up on this show is my cousins, and they're related to me.
And I'm still saying, guys in India probably are his cousins.
Yeah,
like,
they are. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, a lot of, because what happened, you had the Great Migration,
right.
Probably during the early 70s, a lot of people from India actually moved over to the Caribbean, and a lot of these people are, yes, my cousins.
Yeah.
And I've met them. In person, I'm like, Mom, you don't look like us. And like, that's what, you know what I'm saying?
You're like, Mom, why is it that we have so much masala in the house?
That's on my Aunt Sheila's side. You know what I'm saying? It was my sisters, my mother's, stepsisters, all that kind of stuff, Yeah, they're Indians.
That's
so when somebody tried to accuse me of being racist, I'll laugh like hell. You know what I'm saying? I can never be that. There's two things I can never be. One of them is racist, and the other one being an alcoholic. Because those are the two damn things that I've never touched.
Indeed.
Well, I'm gonna tell you something. Somebody accused some woman on Facebook accused me of being racist, and I read her the riot act because I know my family history. I went off. She had to get off of there.
Somebody tried that nonsense with me, talking some stuff. And by the time I woke up and looked at my Facebook page, everybody had already attacked her. They swarm all over like bees. You know what I'm saying? They shut her down. So I can delete the Joker. That's it.
I had one altercation, one situation where a news article, a reporter asked me, because someone sent a snippet of a video that I had recorded about the riot, right? And someone was asking me about the stores, and I had made reference to the stores. Like, they're a bunch of bigots of this. I was like, these crackers ain't hiring people over here because those are the type of individuals that, don't hire people in the city. Right. So the news reporter was like, yo, somebody sent me this, and I have to address this. I have to ask you. He was like, honestly, I don't care, but because they brought it to my attention, I have to. He says, you're a racist. I said, there's no way possible I can be a racist because I don't have power. I can't influence somebody living or dying or surviving. I don't have those. Do I have my own feelings about certain things? Yes, but I can never be a racist. I'm not. And the guy at that time says, all right, done deal, done. Left it alone. It's a misunderstanding of the word racist. Racist and bigot are two different things. Bigot is solely that oppositional, that supremacist point of view.
Right.
That's that point of view. Someone who's a racist just identifies racism or races being different and sort of enjoys the difference in our races. And you have some who are strategic in making sure that your race is submissive to yours or under yours. So it's just, you have people just don't know the terms and they play around with terms all the time.
See, the thing about it is just that it has a negative tone to it.
Yeah, of course.
That's what's happening. A lot of people go by the tone these days.
Yeah.
So if
You know, that's the reason why my page went private, because of something like that. Because I can't be on here arguing and everything and all with everybody and everything and all because of my health. I have to watch my health. My doctor told me to stay off of social media. So what I did was I said, I'm just going to take my page private. Instead of public, I went private.
Yeah, my sister's done the same thing also. Her stuff is like totally private, in a way. It's only certain people.
That's it.
I'm no longer.
And most of the people that's on it, y'all know me for years.
I'm no longer an elected official, so I keep it private only for a business aspect. Because also keeping it public is for the show, and keeping it public is also for the things that I sell, the jewelry that I sell, and all the other stuff.
You make some nice jewelry too.
Thank you.
Yeah, the thing about this, because with mine and stuff, it may be public and private to a certain extent, but I always know to find the delete button when I'm ready. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I'm always like, okay, you miss me when I'm going, and poof, you're going. That's just how I look at it. Yeah. One thing I like to do is to make people disappear. Like Houdini, I'm good.
Unfriend.
Exactly. One minute they're talking some trash, and next minute they're talking to some operator somewhere else in another country. It's just like hanging up the phone. It's just like
I don't mind some debate. I don't mind a good educated discussion. I don't mind that. When people get offensive and they become personal about shit, then that's a different thing. Because I know in the arena of politics, the way it was, people were just trying to push shit and trying to make it personal when there's no really grounds to anything personal, because they were just trying to see how far they can push me. I'm like, I'm not an elected official now. You disrespect me now, I'm coming to see you where you are, and you're going to see the end results of a bad choice that you made. Back before, I had to be candid about it, very democratic, and be like, oh, no. Now I'll tell you, fuck you, where you at right now, come see me.
And somebody let the cat out of the bag.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm like, come see me.
Mo, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly. And I'm like,
well, AJ still fighting with the landlord. Still fighting with him.
No. Let me say, let's talk about it. We're gonna be men about it. Either men can talk about it, we're gonna handle it one way or the other. But point blank is those days are over. Now it's you let the lion out. That's all. I can be a gentle cat, or I can claw the shit out you and make sure that you never, ever disrespect again. That's all. But I'd rather be peaceful.
Everybody rather be peaceful, but sometimes some people bring the beast out of you. You know what I'm saying?
Of course.
And that's like Renee says, you have to read in the riot act. You know what I'm saying? With me, I said, miss me with the bullshit. Poof, be gone, bitch. That's it. I keep it very simple. Poof, bitch, be gone. That's it.
That's it. We practice magic in our present day. You disappeared. You're out.
Exactly. You just disappear. You go and ghost. That's it.
It's easier, but it's better that way sometimes, man. Because
when you learn how to actually accept people, you have to learn how to deny and reject people at the same time. Because
let me ask you gentlemen a question. Speaking of stuff like that, with all the things that are going on with the supply chain and everything, do you think people there's going to be bad things in the streets like it was before, with them rioting and tearing up places? And do you think somebody needs a gun?
Not right now.
Yes.
Okay. As an activist, as a person just being conscious about things, if you want to get a gun, get it because you feel that you want to have something to protect you from the future, whatever the potential. Not because you think it's going to protect you from something that may or may not happen. Because the way things are going, people act the way a certain type of way. It doesn't mean it has to pull you out to be a certain type of way. We still have a lot of security. We still have, so we don't have all the breads that we're comfortable with. Okay, so what? The prices are going a little higher. It's not crazy like that. If that situation come about, then you do what you need to do to protect your lives. But I don't think your life is in jeopardy right now like that. So I would say just make your best judgment. Make your best judgment.
The thing about it is, with the George Floyd situation and the movement, a lot of white people went out and started buying a lot of guns, but so did a lot of black people. The FBI reported this is the highest amount of people applying for permits, ever before in the history of this country. So a lot of people were arming themselves, against what's going on. What's happening now is this history repeats itself. Back in many years ago, as I mentioned earlier, during the Reagan years, we went through hard times. Remember, there was gas shortage in the 70s, And then after the 70s came the 80s, and then you have to deal with Reagan and Reaganomics, and Reagan served 2 terms. So times were very hard back then. The rich people were lavishing and buying up everything and splendor. That's what was happening. So it's no different from what's happening now. You're looking at Jeff Bezos, you're looking at Microsoft, you're looking at Elon Musk. All of these guys they went from billionaires to almost trillionaires during this pandemic.
Right.
Because if you look at some of the stuff that they're selling, remember, they get it at one particular price, they sell it at one price. They're not negotiating any much different from what they were getting it for, but they're selling it a lot higher because they can make a lot more money off the same damn products.
My daughter loves Amazon. Every other day it's Amazon. I'm telling her, I said, young people, you have to cut back. It's going to get too expensive. The biggest thing we have to pay here is rent and the food. Because I'm a diabetic, she has to have her special. I said, you have to, cut back. Now we pay the bills and everything and all, but we got to cut back. That's just the way that it is. Period.
Yeah, because like it says, America is going through, it reminds me of this song where it says self-destruction. It says America has a very serious problem. And that's what's happening right now. America has a very serious problem. We're looking at race, we're looking at a lot of things. We're looking at disease, we're looking at inflation. There's a lot of things that's happening on this platform right about now. So we're going through some very trying times. So yes,
I think today for 3 or 4 things or 5 things, I paid $28. I almost fell on the floor. And that's at the house. That's at the store, the Highgate.
Wait. What did you purchase?
I purchased some turkey slices, turkey bacon, and 2 or 3 drinks, 2 or 3 things, 2 or 3 soft drinks, and it came to like $28.
I'm not surprised. Yeah, everything that says bread, eggs, milk, all of these things have risen. So everything that actually these products are in is going to go through the roof. This one lady I was just saw the shop right, and she was shopping. I was in Fairlawn, and the lady's like, "Look how expensive it is to get a freaking piece of meat these days." Yes, it is. Meat is that stuff is expensive.
Well, you can eat the fake meat if you want to. I've tried it. I don't know, certain things. I tried soy products and stuff.
Fake meat.
Spam, spoiled ham in a can.
Not just spam. It's something that we usually use that we eat that you find in the supermarket for. It's like different. It's vegetarian meat.
You talking about Impossible?
Yes.
Beyond Impossible. Like Beyond Meat.
Yeah.
Impossible. That shit is expensive.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'd rather just get.
I'm getting with the price of that one, Renee. I don't know. You said you got to switch to that. Most is expensive as hell. So why you might as well eat the real stuff?
I'd rather just get the vegetables.
That's not such a bad idea. That's what I've been doing. Frozen vegetables. That's it.
Look at this. Kentucky Fried Chicken just came out with chicken that's actually not made from chicken.
But I saw the thing the other day on Facebook, and they were saying it looks nasty. I'm not eating it.
Chicken now. First was the Impossible Beef, and now there's Impossible Chicken.
The Impossible Beef was good, and I tasted that one. Then we found out there's some ingredients in there that could cause some problems, so we had to can that. I'm just doing like check until I find what I can, eat. I just eat the regular chicken. That's it. Chicken, turkey, a little bit of lamb. That's it.
Yeah, because
I think
Kentucky Fried Chicken is trying to make vegetarian chicken now. I think that's their pathway right there.
I'm like, I remember the controversy with they changed their name from Kentucky Fried Chicken to KFC. The controversy was they're no longer using chickens. Everything's genetically modified creatures. I'm like, ultimately, I'm a meat eater, but I can get down on some vegetables. I'm good. I'll be all right.
You sure not going to kill you, Mo? We don't want you to go into a culinary heart attack or nothing over some vegetables.
Not at all. I can get down. I love my veggies. I'm good. I can get down. Get some
I do believe I told y'all
flowers and cook it up with some breading. It's just like steak.
I do believe like when we like the Chinese market in Pleasantville, my daughter caught hepatitis A. I caught it as well. So everybody has to be careful. I'm eating dragon fruit, trying to eat healthy, and I got terribly ill. I mean, my goodness.
How the hell did you catch hepatitis? Did you not clean the fruit?
We did. We cleaned it. We put it in we had the vegetable fruit spray and everything and all, and with water and everything and all. We washed everything off and everything, and we still got sick.
But you know the thing about it, the bottom line is this. The bottom
Yes.
line is this. The bottom line is simple because it doesn't matter how hard you try to do certain things. If you was meant to get it, you're gonna get it. That's
Yep.
just the bottom
Yep.
line. You
Everybody
know,
don't catch
you
cooties.
can run away from certain things. You know, like case. I'll give you a perfect example. You have people who are germaphobe, and then all of a sudden they end up with COVID. Okay, that's their freaking nightmare by itself. They didn't want to get COVID because they're freaking germaphobe. They hate germs. So the first
Well,
thing they
Donald Trump is a germaphobe, and look what happened to him.
say
He
again,
got it. Yeah, I remember he probably was having a fit. He probably was freaking out in the hospital, driving him crazy.
who's that?
Donald Trump, because he's a germaphobe. I met him, and I didn't shake his hand because I knew he was a germaphobe. He doesn't like to really shake people's
Well,
hands.
the thing about it is Donald Trump has been a germaphobe because, like I said, I worked at Trump Plaza for many years, so I'm totally aware of that. You know, but when he started running for election, then he started, you know, shaking hands and hugging people and the whole 9 yards. Now, a real germaphobe is Howie Mandel.
Hell yeah.
Howie Mandel
Okay.
is a serious,
Psychotic
really serious.
germaphobe.
He won't touch you. He won't breathe next to you. He wants his freaking his 6 feet is 12.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? He don't want anybody near him. That's Howie Mandel.
That's
Donald
the real
Trump was a perpetrator of being a germaphobe.
Mm-hmm.
Donald Trump didn't want he wants you to see his hair plugs. That's what it was.
True that. It still did a fly away. When the wind blew, you saw what happened. That comb over went the other way.
Yeah.
Need to put some hair glue on that.
Yeah, I thought it was a seagull on his head or something, you know?
No,
Some sort of
that's
something.
his hair.
Something that's considered
hair
a
glue.
rare species or something.
Yeah.
I remember when Jimmy Fallon got a chance to shake his hair up, and his hair, you see all the hair gone, and so I said, "Yep, he was playing it all along, like people were paying attention,
You know,
like it wasn't a comb over."
that's 100%, you know, New York, you know, genuine New York rat here.
That's what it is. New York subway rat.
New York rat here.
Well, I'm gonna tell you something. When I was in the nursing home, my hair started coming out because of the medication I was on. So my daughter had to get in here, and she was like, she just started snip, 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 snip. And then we had to go to the barbershop to get the rest done. Had to start all over again. I had some long hair when I went in. When I came out, you can forget it was falling out. I was pissed, but you see, it grew back. You just have to, you know, get ready to take the style out and cut it down again.
It's okay. We represent the solar panel brothers, so we're good. The solar panel brothers make it easy. Just, you know, got to keep it clean.
Yeah, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Yeah, you know, but you're absolutely right. You know, no matter how hard you try sometimes, at the end of the day, Renee, just live your life there. You know, like Frank Sinatra said, I did it my way. You know, that's what really matters. Because the more you try to run away from things, the more it seems like it runs towards you. Because it knows that you're fearful of it. You know, it's like people who chase after money. You know, when you chase after money, it runs away from you. But if you just relax and you just carry on with your life and you do what's right, it will come to you. It's like a gravitational pull.
So it is. Mm-hmm. The energy you throw out will come back to you.
Exactly.
Yep.
So, you know, so there's no need to be afraid or fearful of anything other than God, like it says as a child growing up. You know, that's it. I tell a lot of people, you don't want me to be afraid of you. Let me see you actually turn water into wine and walk on water. You know, then I might be afraid of you, you know, but other than that, you put on your pants in the morning, one leg at a time, like everybody else, if you have legs. You know what I'm saying?
I was just having, you know, I had a conversation similar to that to my mom. My mom is up in age, so, you know, when you get up in age and standards are different, her body's not moving the way it is, she's upset about certain things. So like I kept telling her, I said, Mom, you're spending too much time looking at life in a negative way. All right, you're supposed to be enjoying yourself the best way you can. I'm sorry that your conditions aren't just making it easy for you. But if you're grumpy all the time, nothing's going to change. It gets worse. If you're grumpy all the time, it gets worse. So what you do is you try to convince yourself reasons, or you got plenty of reasons why, that you can at least hold and maintain a smile. Life memories that you've had, people that passed on that left a good impression. Interactions between human beings that make you laugh still to this day. There's a lot of things that you can do. You can just reminisce. And they're cheap, they're free, they're helpful, it's good for your health, and it's good for the atmosphere around you. And the more you do that, more people want to be around you. But if you're grumpy, who the hell wants to be around grumpy people?
Exactly, because that's
Nobody.
a lot of negative energy. It's a lot of negative energy going in a negative direction. Nobody
Absolutely.
wants or needs that.
Absolutely.
And people love to be around happy people. I've seen people way up there in age, and they're still happy as hell.
Yep.
Still happy as hell, you know. I have a friend of mine, you know, he's 77 years old, and he calls me up and he's dying laughing and he's carrying on and the whole 9 yards. You know, sometimes he repeats exactly what he said before, like, you listening to me? And I'm like, yeah, the guy's 77 years old.
Right.
He's 20 years my senior.
Right.
But he's still happy, And I remember when he asked you, like, your age, I was thinking about, my wife and I separated. I said, look, it says in the Bible, seek after peace and pursue it. Seek after happiness and pursue it. You don't want to actually leave this world bitter. Some people do that. Don't. Enjoy life. As long as you breathe and you're achieving. Enjoy life. It's about love people who are happy. And actually, the endorphins in your body and stuff loves to actually radiate and be happy. That's what life is all about, happiness. God didn't put you here to be a freaking mean soul. No way.
Nope.
So with me, I tell a lot of people, I like making people laugh because that's what it's all about. People start laughing like crazy. I was inside of another one of the ShopRites, and this old guy was inside of there, and the cashier said to him, "So how's your car doing?" He says, "Oh, fuck you." He just came right and said that to the cashier. I said, "What a mean old son of a bitch." You know what I'm saying? He just came right out and cursing the lady. She said, she's like, all I asked him, what was his car doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's no way to talk to a woman. Come on, man, be for real.
Yeah, they're hilarious.
Yeah.
Those are the ones that you can either let them push you over the edge, or you can laugh at them 100 times stronger, and they'll kill that shit. I'm good for laughing in people's faces. Laughing in people's faces for shit like this. They'll look at me like it's something different. I will laugh in your face because I appreciate the laughter. I laugh in my own rebellion.
I try to analyze it first, and then I start laughing. So let me see if I can get this straight. And that's when I come at them, and they're like, "Yo, I said, what you're saying is totally nonsensical. It doesn't make any sense to me. So why are you saying it?" That's what, then they're like, "Oh, snap!"
Last official conversation I had with somebody as a council person, I called the city clerk's office and I told her about whatever the discussions about me voluntarily giving up whatever I'm supposed to give up to the city, give it back. So I said in the breath, I don't mean to be a pain in the butt. I'm sorry I'm being a pain in the butt this way. And you would think immediately, no, you're not being a pain in the butt. It was quiet. They stayed quiet. It took about 3 or 4 seconds of staying quiet. I started laughing immediately, laughing my ass off. So y'all think I'm a pain in the butt? Oh, forget y'all. And the man, no, I didn't. No, I didn't. I said, no, you did. But that's funny as hell. Fine, not a problem. I'm not a pain in the butt. But it just caught me off guard. And it was hilarious. And some people just don't know how to understand that.
When I was in Bayonne yesterday, right, this one lady that was there, her name is Donna. So I'm up there talking to Donna. She's like, "Adrian, have you ever done this before?" I'm like, "No." I said, "Look, let's pretend that we're on the show Undercover Boss and I'm the boss that you don't know about." That's what I told her. So she started laughing. So she's like, this job seems pretty hard, so you have to pay attention to the numbers. Pay attention to the numbers. I said, "Sweetheart, you're talking to a guy who's been a dealer in Atlantic City for over 40 years. All I've dealt with is nothing but numbers. Okay, so when you're trying to tell me to pay attention to the numbers, I know numbers better than anybody else inside this damn place." You know what I'm saying? She's like, "What?" She's like, "How old are you?" I said, "Yeah, I was like one of the youngest freaking dealers in Atlantic City at the age of 18. Do the math." She's like, "Wow, I didn't even know that." I says, "Yeah, you talk about stress. Try becoming a dealer on a freaking day." I said, "My first day on the job, this one player took out a $20,000 marker and he was betting $2,500 a hand. My first day on the job. Okay, just came up out of dealing school. You're dealing with $5 and $10 chips, and you walk into a damn game and the damn guy is betting $2,500 a freaking hand. Your math just goes out the window."
Well, try taking $1 million, $2 million across the casino floor, and they got the cameras on you, and you're going in like, okay, just keep it moving, because people, you know, people will try to steal or whatever. But I made it there, you know. But I was like, that was the first time I ever took out $2 million or $1 million, you know.
What were you doing? What
Security
department?
officer.
Okay,
Security.
I did that also for Tropicana, so I kind of know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I
I'm like,
kinda
none of this money is mine, guys. Don't go out and taking out millions, and none of it's mine.
Yeah, but try this one right here. You try taking, you know, this one guy. I took him for $256,000. You know,
Oh wow.
table. Just paid for a house in full. And then there's this other guy. His name was Chris. He was a pain in the ass. He was the Indian guy, but he will always come to my freaking table, and he will bet some of the worst flipping bets that anybody will see to test my math. And no one loves dealing with this guy whatsoever, because he will actually put down orange chips, he will put down purple chips, then he put down black chips, green chips, and then he put some red and pink ones on top. And if that shit comes up a blackjack, you got to figure it out, Jack.
Oh wow. Oh, I'm glad I never became a
You know
dealer.
what I'm saying? You're like, yo, this is like, you know what I'm saying? You're inside the rack, you're like, okay, this pays this and this pays this. You know what I'm saying? And you look like if you're doing a freaking, you know, algebra test or something. That's the kind of nonsense that, you know, I've been through. You know, it's a wreck. And not only that, but at the same time, you have the floor person, the pit manager, the shift manager, surveillance looking at you all at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Now, working inside a shop, right, putting stuff on the shelves ain't nothing compared to that. You know what I'm saying? There's no comparison there. There's none. You know what I'm saying? You see Evander Holyfield strolls up to the table with his entire entourage, and then everyone's standing around. And then guess what? You're the freaking dealer that the spotlight is now on, because he's going to play with you.
Okay, I've seen Evander. I've seen him down there. I've seen Manute Bol, Evander. I dealt with high rollers, everything. I dealt with it all.
Yeah, so, well, like I said, Trump Plaza was the centerpiece of Atlantic City, so that kind of says it all. I dealt in the high limit pits, so that kind of says it all. You know, I've met each and every single one of those guys.
Yep.
You know, as a matter of fact, this one guy who played for the 76ers, you know, I said sometimes you feel like conducting, sometimes you don't. This guy was like 7'6", you know what I'm saying? You're like, yo, Adrian, I ain't no nut, man. Don't be calling me no nut. They're like, looking up at this dude. I'm like looking up at him. This dude was hell of a tall guy. You know what I'm saying? I'm standing 6 feet. I'm looking up to this guy, you know, like a ladder. You know, like a skyscraper. I'm telling you.
That's funny.
A lot of
if you know karate, you can knock that 7-foot guy down to the floor.
Yeah, well, like I said, you know, he was just being facetious after my comment. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Y'all two just playing with each other.
Yeah, exactly. But you know. But I ain't mad at him because I just first taken his money, so you know he's not gonna be a very cool camper, you know.
Yeah, but you have to do. That's what your job is.
That's what happened exactly. When you take a lot of these people's money, you go from being your friend to being your worst freaking enemy. You know, in 60 seconds. Yep. You know, so there's a lot of stress there.
Yep.
Well, I had a guy who was betting $5,000 at Crapstone. He kept sinking to the floor every time he lost. I said to myself, "You don't want to pay the price, then get off the damn game." Excuse me, French. Sinking to the floor. Then I had a man who was winning money, and I went past. You know, when I came back, the man then had a heart attack.
No, I've seen that. Hey Mo, everything that she says, I pretty much have another story in that same category. You know what I'm saying? Because over all of these years, you know, I've seen it all.
Yep.
I've seen it
all. Fighting.
Huh?
Bikers fighting. Thank God it wasn't Hell's Angels and the Pagans, because God knows they tore Vegas up. I wouldn't have wanted to be a security officer in that fight.
Yeah, but not only that, those guys showed up at Harris, and I was working over there. Go figure that one out.
Jersey and Vegas is two separate type of things. Their whole cultures are different. Their security system, they're a lot more cutthroat in the area, but they sure as hell don't address things.
They had state police all over the damn building when these guys had the so-called convention over there. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know, so like I said,
it wasn't happening. Because they knew what happened in Vegas, and people got killed behind. They like, we ain't having this shit out up in here. This ain't the Wild Wild West. This is Atlantic City.
Yeah, but you saw what happened to Harris with that real estate convention when they were over there.
that was a monster. Now that was a monster. That was a
funny. That's just like the caliber of real estate brokers these days. They're like, yo,
they're dog eat dog world, man. I'm telling you.
They fighting.
Yeah. I saw this one guy. He was getting ready to actually punch this dude, and somebody knocked him out. It was nuts.
That was the funny one. That's the one that was standing right in front of the security guard that just watched it happen, right? Remember?
Exactly.
Yep.
Damn, look like it hurt.
I was like, where do I get involved with this?
Well, security. Well, see, when you're female security guard, they don't expect you to be fighting like that. At least when I was a security officer, they didn't expect it. We brought in the big guys to handle that mess. Because, like I said, I have bikers that were fighting between pits, and that was nothing I could do. I called for backup because I'm too little. These guys are like 200-300 pounds, 6 foot something, and going at it.
But
I'm
Renee,
not.
which
I'm
casino
calling
did
for
you
help.
work? Which casino? Did you work
Caesars.
for Caesars.
Caesars
Because
Casino.
when I work at Tropicana and stuff, you know, me and my boys and stuff, we were actually, you know, running things. So when something's going down, they're like, call for backup, get Huggins and the guys over there, and we'll go across there and we start jacking people up, slapping the cuffs on them like crazy. This is my younger
Did you
days.
see? Let me ask you something. You working for Trump? Did you see Prince when he came there with his wife to perform?
No, I saw Michael Jackson when he was there, and I went to that Tyson fight.
Okay, I saw Latoya come through Caesars one night. I kept missing Mike Tyson, but I saw Don King. He was in there, and Gucci trying to figure out what Mike done bought, how much he's getting for whatever.
Yeah, because I remember who was it? You know, Kevin Hart, you know, gambling at Trump Plaza, little short dude. He had to climb up on the chair because he was so short. He had to climb up on the blackjack chair. They were like, there goes Kevin Hart over there. You know, another one, you know, when Keith Sweat
He's that short.
Yeah, he's short. You know, and then when Keith Sweat came across there, all of the pit clerks and stuff were running across to the blackjack, to the craps. Oh, Keith Sweat. You know what I'm saying? I had Michael Blackston, you know, from Friday After Next. He played on my table.
Okay.
You know, he knows me very well because I keep kicking his ass and he keep finding me in different casinos. So I told him, hey, Mr. Funny Man, how do you like to be funny now that I'm taking your damn money? You the devil, man. You the devil. I said, when I worked at Trump Plaza, your ass followed me to my table and I took your money then. And now I'm working at Harris. Your ass is going to follow me back over here. Who's the dummy? Who's the devil? You. You know what I'm saying? He told me, with all of the silver around his neck and the whole 9 yards. And then when he go from one table to the next, he's on my string. So when he goes to the next table, I'm going to that next table next. You know, so I kept on following him. So eventually, like, if you coming down here, let me know. I ain't gonna have you taking my damn money and stuff. I'm telling
Let's
you.
see. I had an arms dealer who was Jewish. She was a white woman. She had big money with her girlfriend Hazel, whoever they were. I had I mean a lot of different people. I had the Pointer Sisters, David Copperfield, that kind of thing.
I met some of those guys, you know, like from the stylistics and stuff like that. So I've had my encounters with some of these dudes from the old school groups and
yeah. I mean Chicago's road crew. They were nice. They were cool people, you know.
Yeah, some people are really nice. Father MC was a memorable individual. That guy, Father MC, he came through with his entourage with women. Actually put, you know, Father 69 on the chest. And yeah, I'm telling you. I'm like, what's with the Father 69? Like, my name is, you know, Father. Yeah, you know. I'm like, all right, you know. So he went across all of these cats, man. I'm telling you.
The time period I spent working in casinos, I got to see quite a lot of people. You know, Taj Mahal was like the centerpiece, so everybody wanted to go through. Ran into a lot of people. I said, all of them, and you know what? I'm not a starstruck individual. If I see someone, if I know them, right. I'm like, I'll say hello. What's going on? I mean, that's it. Because I'd rather treat them as regular people.
Yeah, they are regular people. That's the one they want to be treated.
Always. I mean, you know, so you successful. Good. Congratulations. You were able to jump on opportunity. God bless you. Good. I'm glad. I'm happy for you. And thank you for the art that you did. But I ain't going to sit up there, oh my God, can it? No. Yeah. There's only one person I ever got geeky-eyed for because it just surprised the hell out of me, which was an actor by the name of Ruben Blades. But because of his history being part of the Fania All-Star salsa music, so it just caught me off guard. I wouldn't believe he would be there where I went to go and Brigantine making a movie. I'm like, I didn't know they were making a movie. And I walked up on the set and he's right there. I'm like, wow, it was cool. But there was two people that really sort of disappointed me when I got to see them as individuals. One was Whoopi Goldberg and the other one was Julius Erving. Two people that you think living a lifestyle the way they live, you think they would be considerate of others, people working in the community. I saw them treat like EVS people and people that treat them like shit, being disrespectful to the service workers. And then the minute they assume they're winning money, they're like wanting everything had. It was just really poor human beings, man, and it really disappointed me because all I kept thinking was nobody should be kissing your ass to how evil you are, because you see a presence like they are on TV, like
Right.
what you see her a certain type of way. That's not the persona that I got when I
Right.
saw her at Taj Mahal, and I was really disappointed by that shit. I said, "Oh my god, this is horrible." And she was there for like 5-6 nights directly, high rollers and acting a certain type of. I was like, this shit just she turned me off, and from there on, I looked at her totally different.
You know,
And Julius Irving, I'm like,
one person I really like was Lou Rawls. Very nice person. You know, with a chocolatey voice. You know Lou Rawls, Renee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then I found out about his autobiography where he broke his son's nose 2 or 3 times. That was, really like he was a child when that happened. And that was when you hit a child like that. That really bothered me.
I met his son and his daughter because he introduced me to his son, his daughter, and his wife back then. You know, his wife is from the Middle East. You know, like Adrian, I don't like to introduce you to my wife. You know, who was sitting right next to him and stuff.
Right.
Middle Eastern.
Now, I met Teddy Pendergrass twice.
Huh?
I met him twice. I was with my daughter's father, and then the next time I was by myself, and I told him, I said, "You remember me?" He said, "Yeah, I remember." I said, "Well, remember?" I said, "The guy was." I said, "Well, this is his daughter," and I showed him Arabia. He's like, "Oh, she's cute." She was in a stroller. Oh boy.
Yeah, you know, I told him, I said, you know, Lou, you know, I really enjoy your music, man, because I've always that's one of the individuals that I really wanted to meet. You know, growing up as a child listening to his music.
Right.
I said it would be really nice to meet him one of these days, and I did, and I thank him for the music before he passed away.
Yeah.
You know, and that's like it says, you know, you got to give people, you know, their props before their heartbeat drops. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
I remember running into Ray Liotta. He's an actor. Wouldn't pay attention. You know, couldn't tell. I had to double check and look at him. I was like, "Are you?" He's like, "Yeah." I said, "All right, just wanted to double check. You okay?" And everything. It was like dirty jokes left and right. Every time we talked, all the time, it was cool as hell. I was like, "Yo, wonderful, man. Whatever you need, I got you, man. It's not the starstruck. It's just that you're a great human being. You know, you want to laugh and want to joke, be jovial. That's the kind of individuals I like, man. People who just really not. They don't take themselves too seriously."
Right.
I told my son about Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart, when we first started, he did a couple bits here in Lake City over at Sweet Cheeks when we first started. When I was in college at Kane College, we hired him and a couple other comedians to come perform at one of our Black Student Union events. He spent some time on the campus. His ass was trying to mess around with a female that was a cool friend of mine. So she would come to my room all the time. So he's following her, coming to my room, acting, and we got familiar at that time. So he was just a big ass comedian, clown, whatever. He's trying to get with her, although he didn't know that she was a lesbian, and he's still trying to go back and forth and never did. And then for years, I would tell my son, I said, at one point in time, I would just mess with him, and he'd look at me, he's like, "What do you want, Moses?" And it's always looking at me. And every time I see him in person, I keep thinking, I don't know if he remembers me, but I remember that interaction. I said, this is the stupid kind of simple stuff that I say to this day. That would probably blow my son's mind if that came about. If all of a sudden he starts interacting with me based off of that in the past, then he'll be like, my dad wasn't lying. I said, no, it wasn't. It was just something simple, something so simple, and something stupid. Because comedians like to mess around. I was blessed to have, in a time frame where I went to college, I got to meet a lot of R&B and hip hop artists. I've got to be, because we were working the student activities, we hired a lot of individuals to perform. So I got to meet a lot of people who were actors, comedians, singers, rappers, producers, everything. I got cool with KRS-One, Rakim, Fat Joe, all of those people that were part of that genre music, Brand Nubians, Kwame, SWB, all these individuals that were part of music. I got pretty cool with the I spent. So I was like, I never really was starstruck. And I think it's because of time. When you get in a situation, everybody has their 5 minutes of fame. Me and my boy King would walk up into restaurants all over the place, and somebody be like, "Yo, that's y'all." We'd be like, "Yeah, that's us." Yeah, not knowing what the hell they thought they were looking at, but we joke around. Because I don't know if at the time, because people were saying I looked like I had red hair or some shit, so I looked like Sinbad. So it's Sinbad or a chunky Albie Shore or I always look like somebody else, so we played around. But that's my past. It was just funny. That's all. Just funny.
You'd be surprised at who you run into.
Huh?
Yeah.
You'd be surprised at who you run into.
Yeah, you never know. I mean, life is a challenge. You never know.
I met Judy Haynes on the boardwalk. Now she was a nervous wreck, but when she does the news, she's like totally professional about it. Some people have bad anxiety, but she was cool people, nice, but just a nervous wreck.
Okay.
Who's this?
Judy Haynes from I think it's CBS or ABC News. One of them. She was back in one of the Philadelphia stations.
Okay.
Yep.
I don't know what that one is, but it's cool. I remember going to Washington, D.C. for a march. It was the March on Puerto Rico, running into Marita Moreno. I'm walking right by her, and she's sitting there talking to some people, and I'm not paying attention. I was like, oh, shit, that's Rita Moreno. Small, little, beautiful Puerto Rican woman, beautiful aura, shiny, smiling everybody. I was like, that's cool. I'm standing next to Chef Garces. To me, he's a superhuman because he's feeding all these people all over the world with all this food that he brings from all over the place just to keep feeding people. And he doesn't ask for anything. Jeff Garces, man, beautiful. And I'm walking with him. I took pictures. So him and I are having brief conversations, and I'm walking with him. I was like, that's what I'm talking about. That's the image that I like, to be able to walk with beautiful individuals in life and just sharing a moment of humanity. That's the thing. I'm not worried about no signature. I'm not always worried about a picture and all that stuff, but sharing a moment of humanity is what's really important to me. The moments that we share with people mean more to me than anything else. If they come with $1 million check, that's a different story. But until that time, the moment of sharing humanity with you is good with me. But listen, y'all, we're at that three hour mark. We've gone an hour longer than we were scheduling. So Renee, we're going to give you a moment to say a few words if anybody'd like to. If you'd like to close out by saying something or remind people anything.
Just be safe out here. Use your brain. Don't follow the crowd, and just live long and prosper.
That's a Star Trek role.
Yep.
That's right. Brother Adrian?
Let's see, Renee, you found out tonight that we're all cousins.
Yep.
We run in the same circle in more ways than one.
Yep.
Knowing that we graduated from high school, but now we have other individuals who are related to us. And like I said, family is important. Family structure, family first. Always remember that. No job can replace the family, and it should never be that way.
That's right.
So I was on the front line with a lot of workers this past few days. I've learned a lot from these people, which is very important. At the end of the day, we're all human, and we're all looking for a better way in life. And that's what it's all about. And that's what I like.
That's right.
But my thing to any and everybody is that you should enhance another person. So whatever predicament or situation that they're in, when they meet them in a better way, in a better area. And like we always say, be positive and test negative.
Absolutely, that's his turn. I had to bring the music back up again.
Okay.
Lower it down.
Sandy said that to me a few days ago, but he had it backwards.
I know. I'm trying to get back on the road. There's a certain agenda I need to have in front of me. Hit this button, hit that button. That's it.
Okay.
That's cool. It's always appreciated. But folks, thank you for tuning in for tonight's show on New Norm 2.0. We appreciate you spending some time with us, getting to laugh and joke with us and listen and possibly get inspired in certain things. Remember, you can visit our website at www.thenewnorm.club for any archived information, any information that we may have covered here, especially COVID-19 during our present time. Any information that we have available is available to you. Also, we encourage you to go over into our web mall, and our cyber mall gives you tons of information as well as an access to one of the greatest internet-based radio shows there is with the DJ AG Hugs, rocking the 1s and 2s and 3s and 4s all night long, and making sure that you enjoy what little life brings in the joy of peace and music. So go check it out there, show some love that way. It's really important that we pay attention to life because life can end at any moment in time. So if you can, Remember, count your blessings and be a blessing. Enjoy yourself. We appreciate all the time that you spent with us. We're hoping that you'll jump on next week for another show. And we encourage those that have been on before, come and share some time. We wanted to see if we get some people who had suffered COVID so they can talk about their experiences of COVID. And now with Omicron attacking us in different ways, we just want to give you as much information as possible so you can deal with the current state of affairs in the world and Omicron and COVID-19 to help you understand that you're not alone. We're all going through different times, and of course we have to adjust to different things, and that's why the new normal was created, to help you adjust and navigate through life. We hope that you understand that your life is very precious. We want to make sure that you appreciate as much as we appreciate it, and enjoy yourself as you live life, because life is short and it's a gift to be appreciated. So until next time, much love to you. Peace to you.
See you.
Take care.
Good night.